Open the February 27th Board of Health meeting, and this meeting is being recorded. Okay,
Okay.
we'll start with you.
Let me at least stand where you guys can all see me.
Yes.
Here. Thanks for having me all here. I'm not normally dressed so slovenly, but I've been on my knees working all day and I didn't make it back to the office in between. Thanks for having me here, Arlene. My name is Danya Mahota. I own a business named Bonsai Logic. We've been operating, making municipal software and payment stuff and kiosks and tablets and cell phone payments and stuff like that for about 24 years on the Cape. About 10 years ago, we developed a license plate recognition system, home built, kind of like on the Easy Pass on the highways. We have it deployed all over transfer stations, some private sector entities, some parking lots, basically to replace vehicle stickers. So the whole process of like acquiring the stickers every year, designing them. After 23 years, I've been in so many municipal meetings about the intricacies and headaches of disseminating stickers, enforcing stickers, revoking stickers, right? Qualifying purchases, trust memberships, all the words. I have so many years of experience talking about that stuff. So that's why we started looking at LPR solutions, because they basically make it so like citizen wants to go to the dump, they want to go wherever, they can just go online, register, your staff reviews the documentation just like you would if they walked inside. You click approve, the citizen's charged, their plate becomes valid for whatever period of time the item is that they're purchasing, a day, a week, a year, and they can drive right in. And so the cameras are basically running 24/7. And the reads all go up to the cloud. So sitting here in the office, you can pull reports and see like who the most frequent unregistered people are, the most frequent registered people. So maybe you can find that guy who's like abusing by filling his whole truck with a daily pass 4 times a week, you know? So we give you basically a way to actually leverage the traffic at the facility and look at the metrics. Sometimes it helps in like beach locations. For instance, at Nauset Beach on Cape Cod, we just redid the whole entrance there. There's 2 lanes of LPR and 2 lanes of parking kiosks. So the people that are paying every day pull up to the kiosk and they pay. The people that already have permits pull up to the fast lanes and they drive right through. And in having that traffic, the town of Orleans can now see how many permit holders are coming from 8 to 12, how many daily parkers are coming, how long they're staying, so that if the time comes to change fees, they actually have some metrics to look at and say, well, you know, those who hold annual permits are only staying for 2.5 hours, and those that are paying the daily pass are staying for 6.5 hours. So if we have to recoup X amount of money, then we should hit the daily parkers with a 15% increase. So things that you just couldn't track with a sticker-based system. Of course, there's hot lists if somebody's in violation every time they drive through. The police love that stuff. We can flag vehicles. If we have Amber Alerts, we'll send it to all our facilities. So if somebody drives through with a matching vehicle, we get notified. So LPR is basically just a way to get rid of the sticker. That aside,
like I could weep. So happy.
I
could weep.
Yeah, I know. We just did it in Rockland. We just
it's her wish.
Yeah, I'm with you, because every year I meet with everybody about the stickers, and now it's so much easier.
Yeah.
We're working on solar-powered, cellular-driven solutions, which is really cool. Excuse me. So you can just like take a stick out of the trunk with a camera on the top, take it out and put it down, and it'll scan cars within a few minutes. It'll be sending reads to the cloud. So we're always kind of on the cutting edge. We use American development, which we pay a lot of money for, not your Eastern European or Asian developers. So everything's American-based. And again, we've been doing it for 24 years. So we service a lot of municipal clients. We've transferred over almost $300 million now. But any questions you guys ever have about our just point of sale? We have our core point of sale software is called Town Hall 247 to sell stickers or dog licenses or whatever it is that you want to sell. And it's great because with online sales, as you guys may or may not know, a lot of people don't qualify for what they're trying to purchase and they get declined. And a lot of the time in the municipal industry, that means a check is refunding through the warrant process. So it's going through the treasurer collector's office, right? And it's just it's a time-consuming headache to refund money. We keep our revenue trail crispy clean with a lot of stuff I won't get into, but I'll summarize it that last year we took in, I think, about $15.5 million just in stickers on Cape Cod, and there was only $180 of refunds.
Wow, that's huge, right?
It's unbelievable.
That's like unbelievable.
The town of Dennis has a 16.8% declination rate because everybody wants beach stickers in the town of Dennis. But the way that we do it, citizens go online, they give you the documentation, they authorize the transaction, but it's that you don't exchange the money until you guys have reviewed the documents and hit approve. And at that point, they get an email. The plate, if it's LPR, is added to the system. They're charged. So we keep the revenue trail crispy. Finance departments love us. And the citizens love us because they don't have to put stickers on their car. They don't have to get it. A lot of people freak out about the Big Brother and Uncle Sam, but in reality, I mean, it's a public facility. The license plate belongs to the state of Massachusetts or whatever state you're in. It's a misnomer. And also the photos you can't really see human beings in there. You can't tell who it is. They're generally monochromatic, meaning they're high definition, but for object character recognition, not for the human eye. So they're not incredibly invasive in terms of seeing who's in the car or what's in the car or any of that. They focus on license plates. But you get a new car, same plate, you don't need to go to town hall. You just put it on your new car and keep going, right? So there's just so many conveniences. So whether it's point of sale stuff, online transactions, kiosks, we have cell phones where people can just take payments like a Toast or a Square, but it's not Toast or Square. It goes straight to our software. So if you're doing transactions at the counter, there's online transactions coming in, there's parking kiosks, and your transfer station is like taking white goods payments for propane tanks, tires, or whatever. It all reconciles in the same vertical stream of our Town Hall 247 package. So that's basically what we do. I want to thank Arlene for inviting me here today. It was very convenient because I'm actually finishing the LPR installation at Rockland, which is why I'm a little filthy. I've been on my knees all day there. Sorry, I meant to go home and get prettied up. I didn't have that opportunity. I'm going back to Rockland right now to finish that up. But if anybody has any questions, if you're familiar with anybody in Rockland, you can just drive right in there and take a look at the facility. Generally, we just ask that the municipalities put some conduit underground, right? So you got to run some pipes underground. We put in 12-foot steel poles, 10 or 12 feet exposure, cameras on the top. Wires are all underground. They enter into the steel underground, so you just have a clean steel pipe coming up with the wires through the middle. We don't use any Chinese hardware. Our cameras are from Hungary. They're from European highways. They're really, really high quality. Nothing like you'd see on Amazon or any of this stuff. They are extremely, very carefully selected. We also have the ability directly within the app for you guys to report license plates to us. So if you see a plate, a type that just doesn't read right or something like that, I like compliments, but really I love problems. As the business owner, when people give us an issue, now we can make the product better, and we've been doing that for 24 years. So we got a pretty solid offering. So if you have any questions, let me know. We're really easy to find, bonsailogic.com. I'm the owner of the company, and I have my teeth, like so many business owners, too much on a granular level in every piece of it. So if you send an email to the thing, I'll be the one getting that too. So you can write down my number if you want. My name is Danya, D-A-N-Y-A. Last name is Mahota, M-A-H-O-T-A. And my phone number is 781-831-2097. And also you can just submit something on the website, bonsailogic.com. Not hard to find. But that being said, if you guys have any questions, I'm not here to take your whole meeting, as I often do as a sales guy.
How long is the setup? How long do you
It's pretty quick, from like wet ink to finished process. Of course, there's some variabilities, but on the shortest end, only about 4 to 6 weeks. And on the long side, if you have to do conduit work and you got to do asphalt work first, and that can take years. Winchester, we just finished it. We started that 3 years ago. Now, we do our installation in 2 days, but to get the infrastructure in place, you might need weird permits. You might have wetlands. I'm not sure about your facility, but if you can get some galvanized poles in the ground and you can get conduit in the ground, then we move fast, real quick. And whether it's just software or you guys actually do cameras and that, we hate stickers. We will eliminate.
I hate stickers.
I believe that. I believe.
So I guess the other thing is we would then have to look at what the cost is going to be.
Yeah, the cost varies quite a bit. I have to look at your facility before I can, and I didn't have a chance yet.
Yep.
The average cost of these systems, depending on your traffic as well, because the amount of photos you're taking and sending to the cloud determines usage, and that increases the cost because it increases our cost. But you're going to range for installed systems anywhere from like $17,500, turnkey, wires, cameras. This is absolute turnkey finished product. It can get as complicated as 25 or 30, but it's not likely in a smaller facility like you guys would probably be less expensive.
And that's for the license plate reader.
Yeah, that's for the cameras and the equipment.
Is there a subscription?
There is. There's an annual ongoing cost because every read goes to the cloud, and we're here 24/7, 365 to support it. Seasonal adjustments on the cameras, any issues. So the annual services range from $5,000 to $10,000. You guys, looking at your population, would probably be towards the lower end of that. My guess is probably about 6 or 7 based on your traffic. And basically that's it. We handle, some of our clients have asked us to do, also, if you guys aren't ready for LPR, we have recently entered into making it a little better for stickers, printing stickers through our software. So we found special printers so you don't have the human resources headaches of a pile of stickers, specific numbered stickers that you have to type in or write in.
Yeah.
With our software, you can sell them, and they'll just print a sticker that has a QR code on it, so you can scan it and make sure it's on the right car. We can print the vehicle registration number, so you don't have to write it and you can't read it. So
God.
it's a step in the right direction.
Where have you been all my life?
I've been down in Hyannis. I'm in Brewster.
I knew she was going to be down.
Oh my
Cool.
God.
So if we can afford the most expensive one, we still have
Yeah,
that
you can get
option.
our software is great for in-house or online sales. It's really easy. Citizens vending from home, it's really easy for them. We synchronize with the assessor's database every night. It spits it out, so all the addresses are updated all the time. So if you sell me your house, you won't be able to find yourself in the system. Even if I've never purchased, I will be able to find myself in the system. So very easy to use. I mean, 24 years, pretty much every town in the Cape uses us for point of sale. Almost every town in the Cape uses us for LPR. And now we're spreading across Massachusetts and Connecticut, Texas, and Florida with LPR pretty quickly. So help me understand, a little overwhelming, to be honest. Now you got me talking about Lone Star too. I'm nervous about that Texas job.
So I'm curious about the user experience.
Okay.
So, a citizen in Hanson would enroll in the LPR system online.
Yeah, so
And would
basically,
they-
that's
and
correct, yeah.
Would they put their credit card information in online, and then if they have additional service needs at the facility, would those also be transacted through their account?
It's a great question. Very, very astute. Good question. I don't usually get those that qualified. Yes, there's not necessarily an account. People with our software can basically go online, you search first name, last name, and address. It will display a list of records that are matching, and you say, this is me. At that point, without getting too granular, because I got to be careful, I have a tendency of doing that, we know you're going to deal with three types of human beings when you transact funds, and without exception. There's property owners in town that get resident items, tenant owners in town, tenant residents in town that get the same items but have different qualifications to prove to you they live there, and then the third category is non-residents, and they may not have any place in your town. No non-residents. So you're dealing with basically property owners and tenant residents. So when people go online and search for themselves in the assessor's database that we synchronize with, it's our database, but we update the addresses from the assessor's database. They will either find, let's assume it's the first year you were using it, so we have no tenants in the system because we don't know who the tenants are. We only know the owners. Donnie Mahota, owner, goes on there, Donnie Mahota 123 Main. It says, are you Donnie Mahota at 123 Main? The moment I hit yes, I'm in that first corral of property owner because I've selected that record. So the system will not ask me to prove that I live in town because of the assessor synchronization. And it will basically say, okay, well, what would you like to purchase? We emulate the in-house buying experience, and that's how we keep it clean. For instance, when somebody walks in the door and says, I want to buy a transfer station sticker for my vehicle, you don't say, okay, it's $100, take the money, do the exchange, and then say, okay, can I see your paperwork, right? But so many online companies will just take the paperwork and do the exchange without vetting the paperwork. With our systems online, people go online, they're an owner or a tenant, non-res, forget. If you're an owner, no onus on, no documentation, proof of ownership, we jump straight to what do you want to buy. If you're a tenant resident, you'll say, I'm Donnie Mahota from tenant 123 Main Street. It'll say, are you John Q. landlord 123 Main Street? I'll say, no, I'm a tenant, Donnie Mahota at 123 Main Street. We'll say, okay, cool, you're Donnie Mahota, tenant at 123 Main. First thing we're going to do before you pick what you want is show us proof of tenancy. Since I've declared myself as a tenant. So then I would provide whatever it is that you guys request on there, attach the document, next screen, now we'll say, well, what would you like to buy? At which point I'll select my item just like the owner would. I'll say, I want a transfer station permit. It says, okay, cool. Based on the fact that you want a single transfer station permit, you need to provide a single registration for that vehicle, attach, your grand total is this much money, okay, submit. We do have fully integrated processing of our stuff, which is kind of answering your question. And I couldn't be more excited about the processor that we have. It's Hayrix/FIS WorldPay, who's the largest credit processor on the planet, largest integrated credit processor on the planet. What I mean by that is I'm sure you guys have these, a million credit processing companies out there just give you a credit terminal and it's on a desk and you have like software or Excel or whatever you're selling with, and you say, okay, total 6462. Then you go here, 6462, pay. Okay, you're all set. Here's your receipt from this. Here's your receipt from this. Have a nice day. And then at the end of the day, you have to reconcile the money you took from this that doesn't know what you sold and what you sold that doesn't know that you took the money and make sure they match. With integrated processing, it's heads and tails of the same coin. So it's like if you go to Stop and Shop, the transaction happens within the software. It's not a separate item that needs to be reconciled. So as an integrated vendor, which is very difficult to get to, basically our payouts always match our sales reports because we dictate the payouts based upon your sales reports. I don't want to get too granular, but to answer your question about the user experience, that basically summarizes the online user experience. If someone's a property owner, they'll search for themselves. They will find themselves. They will not be asked for proof because they're owners. If there's trust requirements or any of this litany of odd things that you might have to prove, we will just offer those things to them online and say, hey, if your property's in a trust, go ahead. At the end of the transaction, they'll submit the order, and then it goes to the dashboard within our software for you guys as staff to log in. Okay, we have 9 pending applications. Let's pick this. Okay, this guy wants to buy 2 transfer station stickers. Here's the 2 registrations he attached. They match. Garage address matches. It's not leased. Okay, cool. Hit approve. And in that moment, they're charged. That these people get their receipt. So then when they go down to the transfer station, it depends on, in terms of, depends on what your town wants to do. Do you want to record when you're throwing tires and propane tanks away, mattresses? Do you want to record who it was and attach it to that actual property? Because if so, the staff at the transfer station would use one of our Zelda tablets and they'd have to look up every property, which is slower. You don't generally need to know where the mattress is from, and sometimes you don't want to know where the mattress is from, like just throw it in the blue bin. So generally speaking, at transfer stations, we don't necessarily put them under accounts per se or attach them to a property. We just basically say, hey, do you have a permit? LPR says yes, or your sticker says yes. Okay, what do you want to throw away? It's $46. Pay on the phone, tap it. Okay, here you go. Would you like a receipt? Get them a receipt if they want one.
Pay on the phone, tap it.
Yeah, I'll pay on your phone.
So credit cards capture the online point of registration?
Yes.
And then additional purchases?
We don't save any credit card information for PCI compliance for you and for us. 100% of the time citizens are paying, they're going to be entering that credit card number. There are options to say, hey, do you want to use your number ending in 4621? But we found that and we have the ability to do that, but we found a lot of our government clients say we don't, even though it's PCI compliant and it could be done in a contained space, we and you prefer anything to do with credit card information. So it's all entered into a PCI compliant API, which is an advanced programming interface, application programming interface, and basically that is our credit. Like when you go online and buy something to PayPal, and the PayPal window pops up, and you're typing in your stuff, that's not going to the website you're buying, it's going directly to PayPal, and the website you're buying doesn't even see what you're typing in. We operate the same way. So when people are putting that credit card information, it's going directly to our processor, which is WorldPay, not to Bonsai Logic. And when our online portal is dressed up to look like the town of Hanson's, it's not like create an account with Bonsai Logic. And we basically take your skin from your website and dress it up to make. We don't want citizens to feel like they're transacting with some third party. I hate that feeling as a citizen when I'm going to pay something and I have to create an account on some company's website. I'd like to just pay the town directly, and that's basically how our stuff works. It'll say, welcome to the town of Hanson. And of course, there's lots of fine print that there says, this is a vendor taking the payment and all that, but we don't want people to have to create accounts or forget their passwords or any of that stuff. So they just look up their property record, they perform the transactions, and nothing is set in stone until you guys review it and approve it, which you have 7 days for. You have 7 days to hold an authorization. So that's not usually a problem unless you get like slammed on July 1st or something, but you do have to action all your applications within 7 days.
Anybody else have any questions?
What would the time period be for setting this up if we were to decide it next month or so?
It's pretty quick. Like if you guys are looking for just the software, we can have it up in a matter of days, really. Sometimes there's complications in getting your assessor's export to us and making the bridge, but theoretically, in just a few hours, we can have a portal live. I met last week with Chatham, and Chatham said, we'd like to try your software. Within 3 hours, we had a portal live for them. They had the assessor's database. But a realistic promise, several weeks if it's just software. If you want kiosks, like a physical large American-made kiosk, we're talking 6 months. If you're looking for handheld tablets or cell phones to take payments, it's pretty quick, maybe a month, 6 weeks. For an LPR system, it's a lot more complicated with a lot of infrastructure work that's on you guys. We don't dig holes and trench stuff, but we would go, we'll tell you exactly where the posts go, exactly what we need and where we need it. Most of the time, DPWs can get that stuff done in short order in a week or two, and then we can come in. we've got it down pat to like a 2-day installation now. Winchester, we did only about 20 hours, which is a lot of work that we got done in that time, but it's pretty quick. It's not going to be 6 to 12 months, 4 to 10 weeks, and on the shorter side.
Is everything electrical, solar, or how is it powered by?
Everything is 824 VAC, and the cameras themselves on the post run on 24 volts, which is transformers that go through the wires in the ground, that's in your scale house or your building nearby. Although we are developing some solar powered solutions, which are really exciting on the Cape for our beach locations. Because a lot of these towns, they have like 14 beach locations. They got 14 full-blooded LPR systems in. I mean, huge infrastructure needs, and they don't have power a lot of the time, or even cellular service. So yeah, I paid for, and I have our final version of a prototype getting delivered next week, which is completely solar powered and cellular driven. No infrastructure required at all. Like, take it out of your car, put it on the ground next to the road, and wait about 6 or 7 minutes, and you'll start getting reads on your phone. So that's not ready for market yet, but I'll have one in my hands, our first prototype, in about a week or two, and I would hope in 6 or 8 months to make that available to my clients at beaches. Because now you're talking only 3-4 Gs for one of these things. Now 15 locations is feasible on a busy day where you're taking in these towns on the Cape, they kill it on beach money. So yeah, so our stuff is hardwired for a transfer station. You'd want it hardwired. Solar's good, but it's not as good as hardwired in terms of.
But if you did stickers, that would all be through the office.
Yeah. Stickers be through the office. And printing them is nice. It's better than having to get them and record each sticker. And now we're sticker number 1624. Who sold 23? Who sold 25? Who had the stack? It's like all that's gone when you're printing your own. Legibility, Sharpie's fading, the QR code, so your staff can just scan the thing. Yeah, 2014 Tacoma. Okay, fine. So the printing is a step in the right direction, and it doesn't really cost anything. You buy our normal software; it's a service we provide for free because you just have to buy the printer. If you buy enough sticker stock, they give you the printers for free. The printers are like $500 or $600. They're not bad. You get a couple of them, and you're off to the races printing your own stickers.
But you don't need the stickers if you have the plate reader.
Right.
I think that's the way.
Definitely the way to go.
We're going to have to play the lottery.
Plate readers
You never
are a
know.
lot of
If
but
we
it's
can
coming
find
down.
money someplace
Yeah.
in the budget.
We're finding ways to reduce the cost now because technology gets cheaper and it gets better. So we're very aggressive with always finding the next technologies and also finding out how we can do what we already do for less money and make it more marketable. So I expect in the next several years for that price to go down, maybe by 20 or 40% as our hardware improves. The company that we do business with is now making. When I met them, their cameras were $4,800 a piece, and now they have a range of $2,200 to $8,000 a piece. So it's happening. The industry's getting there. If you guys want to go plate reader, I think in a couple of years it'll be cheaper. I'm sure
You can still have hope.
Yeah. But a good place to start is a point of sale system, because if
Yes.
you're going to have a plate reader, you need the POS.
Yes.
That's a great place to start, and then you have just a wonderful in-house and online. And if you wanted to have like cell phones at the transfer station for people to transact and stuff, it's a very short. It's like $700, and you get one of those devices. And again, there's no. We don't really beat up our clients. We're kind of old school in that you have unlimited users, unlimited departments. We don't care. With credit cards, you're either going to face the citizens with convenience fees or absorb them. It depends on your municipality's protocol. Everybody's different, or a mix of the two. Sometimes people will put only 1.5% to citizens and absorb the rest, or the other way around. It's whatever works for you. But we charge the full integrated credit 3.99% or $1.50 minimum per transaction, and that can be all to the citizen, which is probably 90% of the time, or again, partially absorbed by the town. What do you guys think?
There's another town departments they have to pay if they use credit cards.
Right, if they use credit
And they
cards.
pay.
Yeah. So online, you're relegated to credit cards. We also have e-check payments, which is just 50 cents flat rate. So if you want to take property tax payments or something like that, it's only 50 cents a payment. You can take a $50,000 payment, no problem. Nobody would use credit cards for tax payments. Well, some people do, but for the most part, it's an e-check. So we also have e-checks if people are using our stuff online, which is a very low-cost alternative to the credit card fees. A lot of people use that. Probably 40 to 60%, around 50% of people use the 50-cent e-check option, which is. Anybody who complains about a 50-cent fee to pay from home, you gotta really get up, get dressed, get in your car, drive down to town hall, stand in line, say 50 cents. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. Go ahead. Yeah, so any other questions I can answer anybody?
Do you have literature, any, that you can
Actually, you know
look
what?
at, specifications?
So I was planning on going to the office today in between, and I got completely sidetracked today, so I didn't make it back. So I had like nothing with me today. But if you guys go to bonsailogic.com, shoot me an email or write my email address down. It's Danya.Mahota. That's D-A-N, it's my name, D-A-N-Y-A, period, M-A-H-O-T-A, at bonsailogic.com. And please remember that it's the bonsai tree, not the war crime. Sometimes people get confused and they think it's bonsai. I'm like, no, it's the tree.
Through the tree.
Horticulture. But yeah, shoot me an email. Anybody interested in anything, I'll shoot you literature. I can shoot you videos of actual, LPR traffic driving in and the reads happening. We have a whole library of that stuff. I'm happy to furnish you. So anybody interested, Arlene, shoot me an email so I have yours, and I'll send you some stuff and you can disseminate it to anybody interested. And like I said, I'm not hard to find. You can call, text, email me anytime, and I'm happy to do a Zoom or in person, whatever works. I happen to be next door today, so that was fantastic. Thank you for that. Now I'm going to be paranoid walking around in the dark at the transfer station in the grass with all the ticks. Definitely going to shake my pants out before I get back in the truck.
That's right.
Yeah, but yes, anybody, I don't want to take your whole meeting. Any other questions anybody has?
Nope, I think that's it.
Cool.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. And like I said, Rockland's done. So if you have any questions, head down to Rockland and take a look.
And I know Jelly Shot, so.
Oh, you know Jelly? Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. That's awesome. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time. Have a
The
wonderful
health
night.
agent
Thank you,
in
too.
Rockland. So,
I'll be taking a field trip tomorrow.
I definitely.
Maybe you get the friends discount then.
Maybe I should ask. Friends and neighbors discount. Why don't we go back and do the minutes now that we're all here?
I did.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Now you can sign. Okay, do you want to do the minutes, we did bonsai. Do you want to save the public health nurse
Yeah, I would
till
do these
later
guys.
and do them?
They've been sitting here the longest.
Okay, so are you, which one?
165 Liberty, Heidi's Hollow.
Heidi's. Everybody's
Oh,
favorite
okay.
ice cream
I did
place.
discussion, okay, yes,
Could I just, before you start?
yes,
So I've done work at this property, so I just I'm gonna recuse from it, but
okay.
what I would like to say, the property owners are great, the business is great, and they got a great engineer, so you're in good hands. All right?
Yes.
So we
You
want.
don't have to step out, you can just not vote.
Well, I don't know what you're doing.
No. We're not, I don't even know if we're voting on anything.
back there.
Okay, don't go too far.
So we wanted to take the opportunity to sit with the board to talk about some proposed expansion of services at the property. And there's a particular option that we'd like to pursue, but we don't want to waste my time and their money if the board is not going to be amenable to our proposed approach.
Mhm.
So just by way of background, we designed and had installed a system for the property at the time of transfer in November of 2020. The plan that we prepared and was approved and ultimately installed required the granting of two variances. One was for sieve analysis and one was for a separation of groundwater. Obviously, the sieve analysis was because the water table was high testing. The reduction in the separation of groundwater allowed us to put in a gravity system. So if we hadn't had those two variances, then we would have been lost. In a nutshell, it's a 420 gallon per day system that was installed in 2020. It was an upgrade for the residents and for the ice cream shop. So it's pre-existing construction, pre-existing flow, so we're qualified for the upgrade process. The property is located in a zone 2, at least a portion of the property is located in a zone 2, so it's subject to the 110 gallon per 10,000 square foot flow restrictions required in the zone 2. But the property itself is a little over 91,000 square feet, 91,333. So considering the 110 gallon per 10,000 square foot flow restriction for zone 2, the property is still capable of supporting a little over, it's 1,001 gallons per day, basically. So the system that we put in as an upgrade, again, was a 420 gallon per day system. Based on the zone 2 flow restrictions, we have the capacity to dispose of 1,001 gallons per day. So there's potential for expansion of the property up to 580 gallons per day before we meet that zone 2 threshold. so there is capacity to add an additional flow. So what's being considered right now, and maybe you should talk about what your vision is for what you're considering.
Sure. So our vision is, we have the opportunity to expand the business into the barn. The barn needs to come down and then come back up. We tried our best to restore it to its original, but it was just cost prohibitive with the quotes that we received. So we have the opportunity to completely build it up to the way that we envision it. What that means now, and that can change, is that we build it so there's complementary businesses leasing from us in that space. Could be a cafe, could be, it has to be something, like I said, complementary to our night, so to speak, business. So the hours would be between like 6 and 2 p.m. So that's where we feel like there's an opportunity maybe with like that, a bagel shop, cafe type of
breakfast,
lease.
sandwich, sub shop,
Yeah.
you know.
Soups, cute, quick grab and go, right off of 58, portable.
So, so the barn that they're talking about was not attached to the system that was installed in 2000 because it was unused at the time, basically. So it wasn't calculated into the design flow. So whatever goes into that barn, if the board is agreeable, whatever goes into that barn is going to be subject to that 580 gallon per day limitation, whatever it is. We understand that there's the zone 2 limitation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, in my opinion, it would be foolish to dig up a system that was installed 4 years ago to make it larger to accommodate the additional flow. What we would like to do is construct a second system at the site for the new construction. Again, it would be subject to the flow restrictions. It would also, because it's new construction, it wouldn't be available for the same variance process that we used for the upgrade. So, which means we couldn't use the SIP analysis. We'd have to actually get for testing results. They're fairly sandy soils on the property, so I don't see that as an issue. It's just we would have to do the testing in a more appropriate time of the year when the water table is lower. And ultimately, whatever design we proposed would have to meet the full groundwater separation requirement under Title V. So the two variances that were granted for the existing structure and business, those wouldn't be available for the new construction. Whatever we proposed would have to meet the new construction requirements. I did. So I've participated in a discussion a number of times in the past about, is it legal under Title V to have two separate systems on the site? I reached out to Brett Rowe, and I'll give you a copy of his response to me, basically just asking him, is it consistent with the requirements of Title V to have two separate systems on the site? And as you can see from his response, it's not prohibited under Title V. He makes reference to the total flow from the facility. That's the same discussion that we already had about that additional 580 gallons per day up to the maximum 1,001 gallons per day that we're entitled to based on land in the zone 2. So really, we're having a discussion with the board as to whether they would entertain a design for new construction for expansion of the services available at the facility to whatever they may decide that they want to do up to that 580 gallon per day, or actually 581 gallon per day threshold.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically the discussion that we would like to have. Again, we don't want to do the testing. We don't want to go through the headache of preparing
And find
the
out that you
plan
can't do it.
to find out that the board isn't going to be amenable to that kind of approach. So that's why we're here today.
Okay. I think it's something we'd have to look into, because it's not an answer I can give you right now.
Yep.
I don't have the regs in front of me, and I don't know how familiar you are with the code.
Not that familiar.
So, so we definitely would have to look into
Okay,
it.
that's fine. So could I ask that, given the opportunity to do the research that you feel you need to do,
Yes.
could we come back and continue this discussion at that time?
Yeah, and we'll be having a meeting in 2 weeks.
Yes.
This meeting got postponed, so our next meeting is in 2 weeks.
I think it's the 12th. It's 2 weeks from today.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So I'll add you to the agenda for the
Yeah,
12th.
please.
Yeah.
Yes, it is the 12th.
If
Yeah.
listen, if we do decide that this is something viable and we move forward. As I said before, we're not gonna be ready to do the testing out there until the end of the summer, until the water level drops anyway. Everybody understands.
After like
that.
3 hot days?
So, yeah.
After 3 hot days.
Right, exactly. So I guess what I'm saying is if you're not prepared for the discussion in 2 weeks, that's no
That's
big
fine,
deal.
but we're just
But
gonna
we're
look at the
looking
regs,
on-
because we know you're not gonna move forward for a while.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes,
Any other questions for us at this point?
I don't think so.
So
Well, I
if,
think it's pretty interesting what he's saying, because
Yeah.
I checked with Brett Road too, and people down in DP, so it's quite logical to come to place, so.
It doesn't make sense
Because
for me to
total
carry
price
a
kind of-
brand new
yeah.
system just to build a bigger.
To enlarge, right, to enlarge it,
Yeah.
to enlarge it.
um,
Yeah.
if they're not ready to discuss it on the 12th, I'll email you,
Perfect.
just because
So,
I waste
so
your
we
time.
waste your time.
Yeah.
And you have their email.
I do,
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
It's
All right.
a daily.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time.
Good to see you all.
Take
Good
care.
to be seen
Every day.
every chance I get.
Okay. What is next?
Oh, sugar plums.
Are you here for,
I'm just here as an observer.
oh, okay,
Yeah, I don't have anything.
109 Carriage.
road, so why don't we do that, and then Todd, we don't want you to go away, we wanna be able to talk to you.
Yeah,
Are you really?
where's Kevin?
Oh, he ran,
Can you just see if he's up there, please? Thank you.
he went that way, he did go that way. Maybe conservation? He's not sitting in the office, right?
He's not there.
He's not there?
I'll text
He
him.
went on further than he needed to.
Yeah. Yeah, you could text him, still not go too far. And we can do the West Washington afterwards, just so they don't have to continue to wait.
Plans on.
Just text him.
You, as an engineer in the West Bridgewater property in Zone 2, we have multiple systems
Mm-hmm.
on the property. It's just limited to the gallons per day.
Which is what he's saying, yes.
So, yes,
So the two together wouldn't,
it is something that is done.
Yes.
that's what DEP said.
Okay.
You're right, text you, we,
I did.
I
My
said.
phone was right
wait.
there.
Oh, I didn't even notice, I just.
And it didn't make any noise. All right, this is the plan we're looking at right now. And this is 109 Carriage Road?
Carriage Road,
Okay, I didn't make that up.
So then,
and it was, should we have a revision date on it, to address some comments from your peer review?
My friend,
Turn it over.
131.
Perfect.
opens, put it back together.
Minor edits on 124 and then
Yeah.
Board of Health comments 131, yeah.
Oh, but I have to remind that.
Yeah,
All right, so we have made,
Some good paper.
yeah,
This thick paper,
we
right?
like the good paper.
it holds up better.
We have a lot of contractors that destroy them, so we give them good paper. A little bit longer, so it actually works out. We have a septic system repair at 109 Carriage Hill. Carriage. did I say
Road,
that?
Carriage Road.
No, sorry, I have Carriage Hill over there. We are proposing a Presby system. Is anybody familiar with Presby?
I've heard, somebody in Hanson has a Presby, don't they?
Okay.
Because I've heard it.
I do.
I've heard it before.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah,
I have heard of them.
It's working.
that's all of it. That's good, that's good. So the Presby has an enlarged pipe, and it sits in the enlarged pipe, and it uses bacteria to,
Keep
work
things
work
broken
through the
down.
media, yes. So, it's gonna have your standard tank coming out of the side of the house. There'll be a bit of a plumbing change into a standard D-box. And then it's still just a standard length of pipe. It sits in it and it has a longer detention time and a longer eating it up time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a hydraulic barrier because the grading of the road, we have a breakout. We're showing erosion control, because of the slope on the side there. This also comes with waivers to
The sieve.
the SIV
Sieve analysis?
and the use of the
Paperwork.
enviroseptic.
Gil must have it.
And so separation to groundwater.
Send us the plan, not the paper.
Oh, no, it was right here.
Sorry. This has everything on it.
Yes,
so.
so there's a waiver request for separation of groundwater as well. Another reason we're using the Presby. comments that came back were pretty standard. Let's see, the high vent, we don't need to necessarily have a high vent if we don't have a pump because we're high venting through the house. We're gonna abandon the existing sewer pipe. That was a note that was requested that we add. We adjusted the waiver request to read reduced up to 2 feet as opposed to what was written before. And then a dimension line to the catch basin in the street, which we actually have a erosion control mechanism in it as well.
Those are the things that we asked them to do. I can't find the paper, but that's just not what it is. So,
3-bedroom, we did a sieve, groundwater.
mhm.
Has the high vent been verified that it's clear and everything? See his note here.
And the response letter, it pulled out a section of venting requirements from the Presby book, and they actually have it in bold. High vents, in the first bullet, the roof vent will function as a high vent if there are no pumps or restrictions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And no other vents in between.
right. So we have a vent at the end and a vent which would be the pump, the roof vent.
I just have a question on this. So you're calling groundwater at 100.5, right? That's what it shows here.
98, we're calling, where do you see
Okay,
105?
Right on the tank profile, on the side of the tank profile, like up in the, yeah, right there.
Okay, so we took
Oh,
72
okay.
inches
Yep.
from the surface grade there.
Yep.
So it's estimated at 100.5 in the area of the tank.
Oh, okay.
But the test pits
It's at
themselves,
90 what?
it was 72 inches, so it was like 98 elevation.
98
Kinda
the bottom of your
Yeah,
field is at what? 102?
1015.
1015, okay. Okay. I was just looking at these numbers. I couldn't really find any other numbers on here. So you actually have 3.5 feet of separation, you're saying? That's the proposed 3.5 foot?
Yes,
And you could actually go to 2.
and we could go to 2, correct.
Actually, you only need 4, right? You need 4, you could go to, yeah, you could go to 2. Right, with treatment, right?
Yeah. With this treatment, you can actually go up to 2 feet.
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the plan for 109 Carriage Road as proposed.
Second. All in favor?
Thank you.
4:45.
Thank you.
Have
Thank
you
you.
fill this out?
Yeah, just sign it and date it, please.
27?
Yes. Bye.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Nice to see you.
You too.
Yeah. Or we can just do, we can, yeah, there's nobody here for that, so we can listen to Todd first and not hold him hostage. Doesn't want to hear about another septic system.
Of course I do. I plan my evenings out.
I gave you everything back. Reject the plan. All right, thank you.
Don't mix it up. Make sure it's all organized.
Where's the clip?
I didn't get the clip.
Oh, it's elastic. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi.
Hey, now were you gonna talk to us about the transfer station and stickers and costs and?
Well, you already heard about the license plate reader, right?
But
Oh my
she's
God,
so
that's like
excited
the-
about that. When I heard the amount, I'm like, I don't know where they're getting that money from.
Grant money.
RDP, right?
Yeah,
But yes, you can use grant money for that.
But
100% grant money you can use for that.
Yeah.
You guys have,
A ton, don't ask numbers.
I'm trying to remember.
No, don't.
He knows, but yeah, so I don't know that we have enough to get the license plate reader. And we have to consider that every year we need to, yeah, so we just have to look at the numbers. I'm not saying that it's a no. I'm just saying we need to really look at the numbers and see what we can afford.
Well, I missed the beginning of that. Did they go over like a cost on that stuff? I know he said something about, the annual maintenance and membership was like anywhere from 5 to 10, depending on.
17 to 30K for an installation. For a town like ours, it would be on the mid side.
Right,
Safe to estimate on the higher mid side,
right,
in my opinion.
right.
And then
And I don't think we have
ongoing
that
is
much money.
5 to 10K. Ongoing user costs are 50 cents per check fee and 3.99 per CC.
And we could figure out whether that cost goes to the person purchasing, which happens with all the other town departments.
Right.
They pay the fee.
Right.
So I think what we can afford right now
Well,
is
the
not.
town pays the fee for trip tickets that are purchased at the kiosk at the transfer
No,
station.
but if you go downstairs and pay your water bill or
Yeah.
any of those other bills, the cost of that transaction is borne by the person paying the bill, not the town.
Yes. Yes,
So-
if you come in and purchase a sticker here with your card,
Yes,
they pay the fee. It's generally about $5.
so, I think we need to start by looking at the stickers and the cost of the stickers. I don't know that we can afford. They're really
Cost
a
of the
nice
stickers.
license plate.
It's a $600 machine.
Yeah.
One-time purchase.
Yeah.
And then the sticker themselves.
Which you can print on the printer. We can look at all the options. I'm just saying, don't get your hopes up that we.
Make sure you
My
get an
hopes are
itemized
up.
quote.
Huh?
Get an itemized quote.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
And then you can see exactly
You
what
can see exactly
pick
what
and choose, yeah.
Right, but this is so high, the other one is so high end. Rockland's bigger, they got more money coming in, they have businesses that we don't have. They take, C&D, they take a lot of stuff that we don't take. So they can afford to do that.
Well, plus your fees are low.
So
That's the next
that brings you into it.
Exactly, that's right. Let's try to save this thing.
Yeah, but so we need to look at all the costs and then we can decide. I'm not dashing your hopes completely.
No, it might be possible. It might be possible, but we just need to make sure that we
Right.
are
Can
going
afford
to
it.
find a path and stick to it.
Yes.
So, 'cause that's a big part of this. Did everyone get the emails with the numbers that I sent out?
Yeah.
All right.
When did you send them out?
Months ago.
Oh, yeah, that one. Okay, I just want to make sure that it's
It was
the
a
same
long
one.
time ago.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Was it
definitely
last
last year.
Yes,
I think it was last year. Yeah.
Yes.
'Cause the whole thing kind of
yes.
fell apart
Everything
back
fell-
then.
Yes.
And then you were like, we need to get this back on track. And then I heard from Gil, and he's like, can you come to the meeting? I said, yeah, absolutely.
Teresa, you shared those documents prior to the 212 meeting?
Yes.
So these are last year's numbers. They may have changed. I really haven't had a whole lot of time to dig into it. But
Okay.
these are probably going to be pretty close to where you should be at. I had done this sheet, which is basically the snapshot of your transfer station currently. Your current financial status is very, very negative. We'll just put it at that. Very negative. And the residents are basically stealing from the town. That's what it boils down to. In my opinion, they should pay for their fair share. I know I pay for everyone else's fair share in Barnstable, where I live, which is annoying, which we have pay as you throw. But there's a few things you can do to kind of attack this and get back to even. It's going to hurt. So my recommendation probably would be just, don't jump in right away with saying tripling the amount of cost to the resident, but do it incrementally.
Right.
Maybe instead of doing a $100 jump, you do a $50 jump this year, $50 jump next year. The other thing is you're also doing that $50 every year, right? So.
Right now, we were doing,
This current sticker is a 2-year sticker, but previously we've always done 3-year stickers.
Get rid of that.
no, but
I know, but
we only did it once and we only charged $30 for the 3 years.
Right, the whole thing is
First
it's
time.
manpower to do the stickers.
Correct.
Right.
But that's
Right.
part of managing a program that's not gonna
Right.
kill you guys.
Right.
And kill the program. That's the last thing we want to see. We want to see the transfer station succeed.
Mm-hmm.
DEP is your full support.
Mhm.
So, or you have our full support. I'll rephrase that. And whatever I can do to help out, that's what I'm here. So, There was 3 scenarios that I came up with. You know, the first line was the current, you know, status quo was $50 flat rate, $220 a bag. It looked like you were at a loss of about $117,000 a year. It's a big chunk of change.
That's the current stats, right?
That was last year.
That was last year. So
Okay.
that was last year. If I get new numbers for maybe the last 12 months, I can redo this again, which is pretty easy. It's no skin off my back. I can easily do that.
What was the loss? I'm sorry.
About
117,000.
117,000,
Thank you.
which I think when I was working with what's her name when she was here, said
Melissa.
sounded about right. Yeah, I think Melissa said that sounds about where you guys are at. First scenario would be raise the sticker fee to 3 different rates: 135, 130, or 125. Each scenario is a little bit different because depending on where you are with that flat fee, the first 1 year fee, I'll put it that way. It's not a
Okay.
fee, it's a 1 year
Right.
fee.
Okay.
Every year, you can change the bag prices. So right now they're $220. Ultimately, the price is going to have to go up too because you're not covering your costs.
Mhm.
So I've got scenario 1, which is 135 stickers per year per resident, 250 a bag, and you're actually making about $6,500 a year. So you definitely got rid of that $120,000 loss.
Okay.
I just want to get your favor.
A quick question, just because I'm not familiar with how transfer stations are funded in other towns.
Yeah.
Is it expected and common that transfer stations are 100% funded by the fees of the transfer station, or is it a shared cost with the town and the citizens?
Good question. Best management practices, like best practices, would be you put it on the resident, and they have to cover the
At
cost.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's
Mhm.
that's best practice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's not typically supplemented by the town?
No, you want it to pay for itself.
If it is, it's usually it's taken out of the tax base. So there are a few that do tax base, so you just raise taxes,
Right.
tack it onto their tax base, and then just fund it that way.
Thank you.
The
Right.
problem with that is you have less control over what's going on.
Right.
This way you have full control. If you know exactly what the costs are that you're covering based on these numbers. I'm not a huge fan of the tax-based system because it's very difficult to manage.
I mean, the only concern I see with that is, you know, let's just say there's 2,000 residents, 1,000 use the service, and the cost has to increase, and now you have 1,000 that are essentially funding it, and now 50 drop off. Now you have 950 the next year. The cost keeps going up to a point where it's going to fail.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the correct words. I'm a high school.
Yeah, no. I hear you. Like, and you're
I
absolutely
get it, but I don't have the
You're
correct
going-
terminology.
yeah.
But I mean, it's set
What's
to
coming
fail.
in?
So
It's
you're
a
always going to have a base of people that are going to use the transfer station. They're your fanatics, and we see that all over the state. Personally, I'm a product of curbside. It runs in my family. My grandfather invented curbside collection, so that's my legacy. Do I like it? No, because it's not an efficient way to run a program to get us to the level we need to be for diversion. So the way you guys are set up is perfect. Okay, this is the best case scenario for success for eliminating trash, improving the recycling. And this is one of those programs I definitely don't want to lose. You know, pay as you throw is so important to your community. It's going to be detrimental if that goes away because your costs are going to triple overnight as far as disposal goes for trash. And we see that all over the place. But you do need to cover your basic costs. So it'll kind of break this down because I didn't really phrase this correctly. So the sticker fee should cover all of your fixed costs that you know that are there, right? So the cost to run the transfer station, the staff, the lighting, electrical, programs like the license plate reader, stuff like that. You know what those costs are. The bag fee should cover just the disposal. Just the disposal.
Just your hauling and what's going on.
No, hauling is fixed. You know what your hauling costs are. We want variable costs covered by the bag. So the bag costs only cover trash because that goes up and down. It's a variable cost. The hauling fee, you already know what that is.
Variable by weight.
Variable by
Volume?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's a variable cost.
It's a variable cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got your fixed
Disposal is
costs and
variable.
variable costs. Yeah, kind of financial 101, which I'm terrible at, by the way. not my strong point. But you want to cover all your fixed costs with that sticker fee, which you're not doing now. You're not covering any of it, really. So, and that's why you're in the situation you're in right now. You know, when I analyzed this, I was just like, that's pretty bad. And I know what you're saying. If you raise costs, you're going to lose a few people.
Well-
You will. But it's still going to be less than the alternative, which is $800 a year for curbside.
So just for an example, we had somebody come in, I don't know, 2 hours ago, that peeled off their sticker, they got a new windshield or whatever, and they didn't have a sticker anymore. They come in to get a replacement sticker. And he refused to pay the fee of $10 for a replacement sticker. That's what we're dealing with here.
But he's paying it for what, 3 months? But I believe it was on the application that if you have to get it replaced, the
It
steps
is.
that you have
It's
to.
right.
He said
on
no
the
one
pop-up.
told him.
It's on the pop-up.
But it's part of the application
Yeah.
that says if for any reason you transfer the vehicle.
No, it's you have to bring the sticker back with you.
Yes.
Or you'll be charged a fee.
But he didn't read that, or somebody else got the sticker. I don't know.
So I like to chalk this up to common sense, which doesn't exist much anymore.
I'm not biting my nose to spite my face.
Yeah, and honestly, with a windshield, they're gonna get replaced and the sticker's gonna go bye-bye, because no one's gonna remember to do it.
A lot of people
So-
remember to do
Oh,
it
yeah.
because
Well, they do, but there's
we
also,
say,
personally, I would probably forget. It's
Yeah.
just me.
It's the last thing I'm worried about going to bed at night, is making sure I pull.
Not my,
sticker.
not
Well,
my
when
number
you
priority.
he
So-
sold his car and traded it
Whatever.
or something. Yeah.
And that might be different. when
That
they-
and my transponder, those two things.
So this is stuff that I usually don't get involved in. These are minute details that you guys need to sort out internally.
Right.
Personally, I would look at it case by case and be like, look, sorry you forgot, here you go. You know,
Well-
you should look him up to see if he paid, right?
Well, and what we kind of have done is that it's if
Right.
they to replace it, they can pay 10. But if they don't want to pay, they're not willing to pay. They come in front of the board and explain what happened,
Right,
scenario,
right,
and
right.
that fee could be waived. I mean, that's kind of our approach that we have done before.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I mean, it's just time out of their day.
Yeah.
You know, it's inconvenient.
Because then he goes and tells
well,
people, "Oh,
because
just
if I
went and got a new sticker."
if I charge you, but I don't charge your neighbor,
That's
It
going
depends
to
on
be a
the
problem.
situation. It could
Yeah,
be a case
I
by
mean,
case.
no.
And I
Facebook is vicious.
it is. I totally agree. Totally agree. I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, but
Mhm.
How are we managing the 117K deficit currently?
We keep going to town meeting and asking for money.
well, up until we've had an enterprise.
We had an enterprise fund, but we
Funds.
never covered everything.
Right. So all the money that we made went into the enterprise fund. At the last town meeting, they took away the enterprise fund.
We
So
already-
now everything
we
goes
went
into the
up to
general
bills.
fund, and we're at the mercy of the town.
But the town has always voted for whatever the transfer station is needed.
however, in one case, it could be some obscure case, they don't vote for it, and there goes your transfer station.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then all of your residents, your 1,200, 1,600 people, I think,
Mm-hmm.
that got stickers are without a place to get rid of their trash.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Is it
Where are
too,
those phone calls gonna go?
is it too
Right to
aggressive
you.
to try and reduce the deficit all at once? Or is it, can we reduce the deficit incrementally?
You
And
can do it incrementally.
I think that's why he started
Yeah.
saying the 135, then the 120. And he just didn't get to those
I
scenarios.
just never got the scenarios, so.
Get to the second and
So
And you could even start by cutting it in half, right? So you know they're paying $50 now, grants for 2 years,
right.
get them up to at least
100 per year.
Yeah, start at 100, and then you're at least you're working that 117,000.
100 per year is quadrupling the cost, the current cost. Like,
No, it's 50.
It's 50.
So it's
for
double.
every 2 years.
for 2 years, so 20.
Right.
And 100 at 1 year is 200
Yes.
per year.
Yeah.
Compared to 50 is quadrupling.
It is. I mean, we'll take it 75. This is a town
So
decision.
moving from,
not up to
well, I'm just thinking like,
Yeah.
Because we're going to be
as a
doing it
resident,
annually,
right?
which then is going to increase the cost because we have to print the stickers.
Correct. This was the first correct step to move it to an annual fee, and how cautious we want to be about the
Right.
increase.
Right. Right.
So, and that's an internal discussion. I mean, I can tell you, you're going to get phone calls. You're going to get people that are upset. It's just part of the process. But the alternative is, do you want to offer this service to your residents, or do they want to pay $800 a year for curbside? That's their alternative.
It's also regressive because folks that may choose to use transfer station might have a financial constraint.
Right. That they couldn't do curbside.
Age, otherwise,
You can
it's
do-
a regressive approach.
And they don't generate the amount of trash that a family would generate, and they still have to pay the same $800.
And that's the other thing with pay as you throw is a great equalizer. So they're still going to be overall hopefully paying less. But you can also do stickers for lower income as well. You can lower the price of the stickers for that. This doesn't account for that. But I don't know how many lower income families you have here that get stickers.
The medium is up there. The
Yeah.
medium age in Hanson's up there.
Yeah, so I mean, for example, Plimpton, we just went pay as you throw back April 1 last year. highly successful program. We did a sticker fee of 65 for for a regular resident, and it was 50 for a lower income or elderly,
Mm-hmm.
and they're covering all the costs.
How do you know what somebody's income is?
That's up to them. It's not.
Yeah, I mean-
don't know.
Most of those people in Plimpton have been there forever.
I mean,
I don't
town
know.
knows
You
everybody.
know them. They, everybody, it's not so
Everyone knows
big that everybody doesn't know everybody.
It's 1,200 residences. So
Oh, wow.
that's it.
Yeah.
So, and there's 750 of them that sign up for a sticker. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not that big of a place. I mean, literally, the people drive in, they know everybody on the first name.
They do.
Hey, Bob, how you doing? Hey, Bertha. I mean, it's just, they know everybody. So, but once again, they've managed the program. They were in the same situation where they had a very low sticker fee, but they had to increase it. I think they were at $100 for unlimited trash per year.
Wow.
But they had to go up to almost $250 just to cover their costs if they were going to keep it unlimited. Problem is they had people coming in with a truck multiple times throughout the day with 80 bags of trash.
Yeah.
So, and these are people that were servicing other towns and bringing them in.
Right.
They buy a sticker and they just bring everything in. That stopped completely on day one. But they've also managed to control their costs. They do have really good rates. I'm not gonna lie. Their hauling and their disposal is very low compared to most. But they've also been grandfathered in for a number of years in waste management. That will probably be going away at the end of this next contract.
And then they're gonna get the cost that we have, like what happened to us when our CMAS, ended.
When it jumped, yeah. So, everyone's in the same boat. Eventually those contracts expire and then your costs go up. But you really need to start managing the program efficiently, and effectively, because right now it's not gonna be here long the way it is.
Right.
So the 120 a year, what was the cost on that one? It was 120 a year for the sticker plus?
35, 30, 125.
Yeah, there's 125 is the third scenario I did. Bag fee would be at 240, so it goes up 20 cents. And you're looking at, you're in the black by 26 points. So you're just over break even.
That's with the 120 a year and the bag for 240?
125 and 240, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're getting real close. I mean, it's right there is kind of the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably, it is kind of funny because obviously it's a spreadsheet that has all kinds of formulas.
Right.
You change the price from 125 to 120, and then you're upside down by 10. It's
Right.
the weirdest thing. So it works in all these different factors and multiples that I didn't write the script.
So if we
I would've made
wanted
a lot
to
of
start minimum, if we went to 125 and 240 a bag, that covers our costs.
You
We're
should,
not
be
making
breaking,
it
you should be
huge.
breaking even, yeah. And
Not
that's
making
based
it,
on-
but
I mean, once again, it's based on 688 tons of trash.
okay.
Which is, you guys are pretty consistent with that. I mean, I didn't see any anomalies where you were higher. Outside of COVID, the COVID years, obviously, everyone's trash was up. But you guys were pretty much on that. Your recycling tonnage, I have at 356, which is about the same. I don't think that's going to change. But
So our tonnage is stable.
yeah, you're pretty much around 680 tons for a year. So, obviously, want to get that down somehow.
The next wave.
That's a whole other issue.
Food, that's
But
organic.
you guys are also in the green. I mean, you're one of my better communities with pounds per household. So, I mean, I don't worry about Hanson when it comes to the amount of trash coming out of here. You guys are doing really well.
Yeah, 648.9 for 2023.
Yeah, so it's even down from my forecast. So.
Yeah.
And we still have things that we want people to stop pulling out of the trash, which
Yeah.
is a whole other campaign.
There's other communities that working on just because they're very bad.
Oh, yeah. No, we're halfway in between, or maybe.
Yeah, and it was
better than
685 for 2022. So it's right in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty consistent. So, I mean, once again, that goes down, obviously, the prices go down a little bit, your margins are a little bit better. So.
Mm-hmm. But we know we have to do something.
You have to do something fairly quick. So, yeah.
And stickers are coming up.
Yay.
For July.
I know,
Even if there was a printer that printed it and you didn't have to.
It's the people yelling and swearing at us.
They're not going to yell and swear. They have to do it online.
If they do it online, you won't hear
If
it. In Barnstable, we do it online through this guy.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so easy. So easy.
Nobody yells and swears.
It's expensive, but it's easy.
It's,
I can ask a quick question.
Sure.
Because I'm not familiar with the numbers. What's the average number of bags per resident per sticker?
oh, I don't know if we
Bad?
have that.
I don't think we have numbers.
No, we don't have.
We don't.
We don't have
I go in and I buy $40 worth of bags at once because
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the middle of doing
So-
something and I run out. So
So that's a
It
really tough
depends.
number, because the only thing that's tracked is bags delivered from your vendors. So
And-
we know that, but
And
we
the
don't know
sales.
how many they sell, unless you're getting that number from the vendor.
And everybody doesn't use bags because, so just for example, the community, what's it called? This, no, the over 55 community right on Winter, off of Stonebridge. Stonebridge, they have trash pickup. It's right
Right.
off Winter Street,
yes,
but they don't offer recycling there.
So they bring.
So they bring all of their recycling to the transfer station.
they buy.
So there are a lot of people that will just,
do that.
I know people in my own family that they drop their trash at my house and they bring their recycling to the transfer station because it doesn't fit in my recycling bin because we recycle everything.
What I'm trying
So-
to calculate roughly in my head is the individual cost per month for, of 125 plus 240 per bag proposal, against private pickup. Is this still the more affordable option?
Oh,
And-
absolutely. I do a bag a week.
I think it depends on the family.
Depends on
Yeah,
the size.
if you're a family, if you've got 2 adults and 8 kids, you're gonna have a lot of trash. Unfortunately, that's just the way.
4
They're
bags,
gonna pay. They'll pay more than what they're gonna pay with curbside, most likely. If
Doing
you
this.
do, yeah.
And the
if you-
convenience.
If you have, if you're like my family, which I've got 3 adults, a dog, and an 11-year-old, but we're also very good recyclers. I do 1 13-gallon bag every other week. I don't even do it in a week. It's every other week I go to Martinsville dump. And raked over the coals. I wish we had pay-as-you-throw. Save so much money. But it's, so for me, I would be spending very little because all of my stuff is recycled.
Yeah.
So it's also to, with pay-as-you-throw, you also have you need an effective education program on how to recycle right too. Once again, your numbers are stellar. Your pounds per household coming out of here is very low. You're in the green on our map. I wish I would have brought that. I didn't think of it. Our map of pride. I forgot to bring the Claire's meeting too.
Mhm.
Brand new one. But there's always room for improvement. And I think with pay-as-you-throw, it forces people to look at, when you hit them in the wall for the trash, they look at the bill and they go, wow, I just bought, like you said, $40 worth of bags.
Mhm.
Now let's see how much I can recycle, so I'm using less bags.
So I'm using less bags.
So $40 may
It's
last
just- yeah,
right.
for a year.
Just it becomes discretionary spending.
Right.
How well do you want to do this?
Right. And like I said, I usually am 1 bag a week and that's 3 adults.
Yeah, I don't mean to belabor it, but it's possible that you can be a better consumer
Oh,
and
yeah.
save money.
Oh,
Still
absolutely.
save money through
Yep.
the pricing options that we're considering.
If you're doing things right, you're recycling right, you
If
should
you're
always
recycling
save money with
right.
pay-as-you-throw. Always. Any pay-as-you-throw program. It should always be less than curbside, especially for a private hauler, because they're all 800 plus right now per year. So, and that's ultimately the goal too. I mean, you want to give the best program possible to your residents, but also make it cost effective so you're competing with the private haulers. And if you're not competing with them, then
Right. But then you run the
Oh.
risk of what Whitman had happen is they had a private hauler who said, oh, we're giving you 2 weeks notice, we're not picking up the trash anymore. Then you're at the mercy.
That happened in Hull as well.
Aren't the private haulers the same ones hauling for us?
No.
no.
No?
No, well, you guys-
I thought they bought up a lot of the small
Are
companies.
you with Waste now?
No.
No.
No, you're still.
With
You're with Harvey.
Republic?
You're with Harvey because they bought out EV.
Yeah, E.L. Harvey.
So Harvey, which is Waste Connections.
I know.
The name is like,
Pick a name.
it's
Win-win,
changing.
right?
It changed after E.L. Harvey.
That's a different company.
Yeah, that's
So
totally
Win-Waste
separate.
is based out of
It's E.L.
But who-
Harvey.
Who are the local ones now? There's only 2 or 3 companies in Hanson that do private.
Troop is one. Win Waste.
Wind Waste, and there's at least one other.
It's 2 initials.
Oh yeah, there's a
I
No, they all got shrunk because they got bought out by one of the other
Win-Waste bought out
companies.
a bunch of little guys.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
still some out there. There's still some out there. Very few.
Some private.
There's a lot of consolidation.
Right.
Driving me
So
nuts.
there's probably 3.
I would
Probably
say.
3.
There's one out of Plymouth.
There
No,
used to be
Mar.
5.
Mar is another one.
Yeah, Mark. Just there. Yeah.
They've been here for a couple years.
Yeah, I know they're fairly new. But
Yeah.
But there used to be 5.
NASA, which is part of Harvey, which is part of Waste Connections.
NASA's part of Harvey?
Oh yeah, yeah. When they bought ABC, they bought NASA as well.
You need a chart to see who goes where.
What I'm happy to hear is that throw as you go is still a more affordable option for
Okay.
residents that want to save money.
Yes.
So we're still saving folks some money.
Yes.
Even with the proposed pricing models.
We should have been charging a fee for many, many years. many years. And we weren't.
Halifax was in the same boat. So, and they were charging $25 a year, something like that.
But now they offer curbside.
Well, they
But
had to because their program got so eroded because they weren't charging right that it failed them. So it took 20 to 38 years to fail, but it failed ultimately. And that's part of the problem. If you're not going to price this out right, your program's going to fail in the long run.
Right.
It may not be short term.
Because I remember people, when I saw the changes last year, the end of last year with Halifax, people were complaining about the prices, but
Yeah.
it was still cheaper.
So I think it depends on the family. Some people
Family size?
some people prefer curbside
The convenience.
for the convenience.
But
Absolutely.
I don't want to be put in a position where I'm paying $800 because somebody else wanted convenience,
Yeah.
and I don't need that level of service.
Right.
And why should I pay
You
for
need a
that?
64-gallon cart in front of your house.
My
You have one bag a week.
96-year-old
I have one
aunt.
bag a week and I pay for curbside. One bag a week. But I don't have time to go to the transfer station.
Right. So
There
you're
you go.
paying for the convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't
Roll
pay
it out.
I don't pay $800 a year.
What do you think?
Between 4 and 5.
With who?
What? She can't say. She doesn't watch it.
I'm
She'll
just
tell you
curious.
later.
I'm just curious.
I'll
Oh,
tell you
yeah,
later, only because
I'm just
Yeah.
recording.
Yes. And I think they.
Because that's not bad.
No, I
That
don't
is
think
not.
it's bad.
It's almost what I'm paying for Barnstable Dump.
And you still have to go to the dump.
And I still have to, I'm paying $350 for 2 stickers in Barnstable. Yeah, I'm paying for everyone else's trash.
And people don't realize that towns around us pay a lot more and have for some time.
But when we tell residents that, when they come
They
into
don't
the
care.
office, they don't care. They don't care. It's like, when you were younger and your mother said, I don't care what Johnny does. I care what you do. They don't care what Whitman does, Halifax, Hanover, or any surrounding towns. They care what's happening in Hanson.
Yeah. Is this an independent decision made by the Board of Health?
Yes. The select board has no jurisdiction over the Board of Health.
Because we're elected.
Yeah, so when it comes to figuring out rates, you guys can figure that out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask me for a recommendation or advice. I cannot tell you what to do.
But you can give us
but
the information.
And I can redo this if you want to read it. If you want to go back and look at it at another time, to last year's numbers, which would be great.
So those are based on 22 numbers, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because that's the last available that I have for the whole year. So,
Okay.
or was it fiscal year? I haven't fiscal year. I haven't last fiscal year.
I have it by calendar year and I have it comparable to the previous year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Send me everything you have from last year, and I will get started on this. And I've got some of the stuff already because of the survey.
So
Yeah,
you'll
and I have-
update it.
I have
Yeah.
trash,
Oh, yeah.
recycling, and cardboard.
Any current rates, like any rate increases that you've had recently, let me know because I can update it.
The board just renewed the contract for 1 year with E.L. Harvey.
Starting when?
I think it was last month or January.
No,
So
March.
February.
We just did it, but it starts in like March or April.
Yeah, you guys are an odd month.
We have it's March or April.
You're the only one that's not fiscal. I've got one that's calendar and the rest are fiscal, and you guys are like, what?
We have to be,
Welcome to Hanson.
Yeah,
wow. That was an ABC thing too.
We had some issues that it took a little while. We had to
Yeah.
change the date.
It was an
We did
ABC.
it.
Well, it's
Nice
better
job.
negotiating tactic because they already know where they stand. They might need they might need some contracts in March.
Yeah, it just throws everyone off. They're so
Yeah,
used to
right,
this
because when we're trying to pull towns together to try to do a bid, everybody's all over the place in terms of when they need to renew, and it's a little harder to
I
do.
mean, Whitman's calendar, which is odd. They're the only one that I know is calendar. Yeah, they start January 1.
Really?
And everyone else is fiscal. Except
Oh,
you guys.
God.
You're April, March, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think ours was at one point.
It had to have been. I think there was
It
a
was.
mix-up a few years ago with the whole contract with ABC and the recycling.
Oh,
that
yes.
debacle. And
Yes.
I think there was like an extension. Not
There
really.
It wasn't a year extension, it was a couple of months.
You guys also
Several
had
extensions.
The most fantastic line I've ever seen in the contract, which was a 7-day no-cause clause. I loved it. The only one I've ever seen like that. And I can't believe they agreed to it. It was all in your face.
So as far as moving forward, this obviously we have to at some point make a decision.
We do.
Like I've said before, kind of since the beginning, we really have to decide whether we're trying to run a business here where we're, well, not a business, but we're covering our costs, which I really don't think can be done. I think it's just probably gonna just keep increasing.
But you're
go
saying that
forward.
we can.
Oh, you could do it.
We could do it, but what I'm saying is we're gonna lose people doing it. We're gonna price ourselves out of it. That I think at one point we have to decide, are we gonna subsidize this or close it? I mean, and that's where I think we're gonna be at someday down the road. So,
Except if you do it properly. If you go up incrementally, you'll be fine.
Right.
You might drop 10, 15 people.
Yeah.
It's
But
not
you're
gonna
not
be
gonna, not everybody's gonna bail.
because people want it. I'm telling you, I've come from the West Coast where everything's curbside.
Yeah.
I have never seen people like this where if you took away their transfer station, you guys would
Up and out.
no, and that's not what I'm saying.
People love their
That's
transfer stations.
no, what I'm saying is that I mean, I'd be more to a point where if it has to be subsidized to a certain extent, I'd be more for that to keep it open because the service, whether it's someone that they now are using curbside and then they still have that availability that they can go back to that if they want. If you take that away, I mean, you're handcuffed at that point that you have one option and
Right now, we
you have
have people
you have no control over the cost. You
who
don't.
do curbside, but they also get a sticker because there's stuff that curbside doesn't take.
Right.
Yeah.
We take to the
I have a
transfer
sticker. I've
station,
only used it once.
but she still paid for that sticker.
I did.
So I mean, I guess my opinion,
But,
the fairest.
Again, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
But if the price increases and it's 1 year, I won't get a sticker.
Yeah. So I think just my opinion of what the fairest thing we can do for the residents would be to just try to keep that as close to neutral as we can on the cost.
Small
I mean, and with a small increment now, I don't know if we should really, as Peter was saying, try to go all in and try to knock that down. But I mean, move in the right direction.
But moving in the right
agree with
direction.
We got to do something, but
We also need to know what the cost is gonna be for although we can pay for the stickers out of RDP, so that's not gonna be.
I've always used RDP funds to pay for the stickers.
Can we project less aggressively? Like if our objective is not to go cost neutral and be in the black next year, but we, for example, move from a 2-year sticker to a 1-year sticker
Yes.
with the same price, it's 50, moving to 50. What will that do
That would
to
be-
the?
Would it be 100?
Would be 100. No, 50 for 1 year.
But that's what we're charging now.
That's
50 for 2 years.
No.
No, it's
I know.
100.
Per year right now.
Yeah.
It's 100 for a 2-year
100,
sticker.
So
No.
now we'll move it to
The
100.
projection is per year. So
Yeah.
that's 50%.
So if we move it to 100 per year versus
We wouldn't break even.
right, and is that okay?
For the first
That's
year?
fine. Is that
For
fine?
the first year,
Right.
yeah.
So, yeah, when I started, I say preface by saying, don't do this all at once.
Right.
Don't go from 50 to 135 or
Right.
120. You're going to kill the program.
Okay.
You've got to take it in steps. If you can get the money through, the citizens, if they're voting on it, that's fine. Just, I wouldn't count on it, but I would hope for it. Because at some point, someone might get mad and say, we're going to vote against this. I've seen it before. It's not fun. But you need to go to a certain point where you can keep it sustaining. And if that means subsidizing some of it, see what you can do.
But it would at least decrease the amount that we
Yeah.
would have to ask for.
Exactly. And that's the goal.
So,
The goal is to get it so you are break even every year.
right,
And
right.
we set the temperature early that here's what we're doing to control costs.
Yes,
Here's what we're likely going to ask for in a year.
right.
There's going to be a deficit. It's going to look like
Yeah.
this.
We have
Finance,
a 3 or 4 year
finance
plan to
committee
get
would
it.
stop coming after us.
and I may have missed this when you had mentioned that it should be every year for the stickers, and that's just so you can control your costs because you're not locked in for 2 years. Essentially, that if it goes up, that you need to in turn.
Right.
Plus, their contracts are yearly, and there's usually some sort of a rate increase every year. So you want
Right.
to make sure
You've
you're
been missing out on that.
Yeah.
So I guess if we do take that approach, though, I think we need to try to find a way. I don't know if you have any suggestions, just how to make it as streamlined as we can for the process to get the stickers out without,
Killing the help?
without killing the help and without it costing a ton of money if we're going to pay a service to do it on top of it.
But we're not paying the service because it's coming out of our RDP funds.
Well, we're still paying.
Well, we're paying, but I
It's
mean,
not free money.
it's not being passed on to the taxpayer.
Yeah, you've got the
It's
money.
because of the recycling and the programs that we're doing all year
No, I
long.
understand, but that's also money we could be spending on other things too. That it's not free money.
RDP is restricted in what you can spend
I
it
understand
on.
it's restricted, but it's not just for stickers.
No.
It can be used for other things.
education,
Right.
for enhancing your program.
Right.
Right.
But this is definitely enhancing the program. So it's absolutely 100% expense you can
Right.
use RDP on.
So we wouldn't have to come up with $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 for stickers. because we can take it out of the money that
Yeah.
we've already earned through our.
Oh yeah, to print the stickers is nothing.
Now,
It's a couple
I,
$100.
now I had missed that with, do they actually handle issuing the stickers as their service? The gentleman that was in here earlier, he was talking about doing stickers and print them, or was it just they offer printing services?
She has
and
a
then-
printer,
Instead of
and
having
she
to
prints
roll
it. Yeah,
the physical roll, you're just
you print it as you do it.
But we're still handling the transaction, so it's really not beneficial to
No.
us. Okay. I missed that part. I didn't
No.
know if you said that. And then, I just, we can look into it, but I just think for the small town of Hanson, I think the other system and stuff is just gonna be too high tech, too much overhead.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Too
yeah,
much
yeah, yeah.
expense. I mean, it's just, I think we just gotta keep it simple and try to make it more streamlined and bump the numbers up a little bit.
But
to
the system
try to
that we have now is
close the gap.
no, there's no way to streamline it to make it easier. Because even if, I could see it being more streamlined using his system, because you're printing the stickers, throwing them in the mail, and you're done with it. You don't have the traffic, because everything comes in online, and all you do is approve it. But that's, no, I think I'm.
I kind of like his
confusing that with license.
presentation. It was a little bit too fast. And trying to back up a little bit exactly what he was saying. So I'm a person that wants to read it and see it.
Yeah, so why don't we just try to get a little more clarification
Yeah.
on the service they offer, maybe on the sticker portion of it, and see if it's something that may work for us. If not, then
He told us we could ask, and he's got,
Yeah.
we could definitely ask for more information.
And how could we ease the blow on residents by maybe not charging a duplicate sticker fee?
on
Still a cost?
when you say a duplicate, a replacement or a second vehicle?
Replacement.
A replacement?
Like how much money
Well,
are we
because
actually?
you're assuming that it's actually a replacement.
Yeah,
First of all, she doesn't trust anybody.
that's the hard part. Is it's one now you're turning it into the honor system where now they're not paying a membership and maybe they're giving it to their neighbor kind of thing.
So the $10 fee is an honesty fee. I understand.
So that's, well, they still have to, with registration proof and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
not,
say they couldn't give it to their neighbors.
right,
And
right.
who's gonna check the registration when they get to the? You're not gonna-
Nobody. They don't check the
And,
snow.
and the other part of it too, I mean, I feel like to a certain extent, same thing with the honesty stuff, that it's by having a fee, you know, it maybe makes people think a little bit more about it. Maybe rather than just they're going to come down here. You might have a line out the door. Hey, I lost my sticker here. I need another one. That
I'm aligned. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing this logic. I get it.
but we have in the past we have allowed, you know, some people just out of principle like, hey, I already paid for one. I'm not paying for another one, and they've come in front of us in certain situations, scenario that, you know, I believe we have given out replacement
Like a
stickers.
totaled car.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Or a horrible accident. We
I
got it.
mean, yeah, life happens.
You
It's like,
weren't worried about your jump sticker.
I was in a coma.
yeah, it's not the first thing on your mind. I don't
No
blame you,
sticker.
but
My
as,
dog ate the sticker, does not fly.
as
No.
Teresa was saying earlier too, that it's now okay. We have to be consistent across the board.
That's
Right.
it.
So one
Yeah,
person
say yes
comes in
One person
and
no,
oh, I lost my
nobody
sticker.
else.
No problem. Here's yours. And then this next person, well, this is the third one I've given you, and you know, it's
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
There needs
So
to
I
be
think
procedures in place.
I think so. I think it's more to kind of
Make it fair.
to be consistent is why
It has to be
we've kinda
equitable
just-
for everybody.
We've
Mhm.
retained that.
Yeah, so more research on the sticker option, it sounds like is a good approach. And then, yeah, and considering a cost adjustment.
Absolutely.
Another question, Todd. I was reading someplace that some of that trash is going to Alabama. Some truck, they're starting to truck to Alabama. What
They
is?
are definitely, I don't know where yours is going personally, but there is, trash from Massachusetts going to Alabama and Ohio.
What's Alabama going to say when? Hey, what is this stuff in this trash here?
They
No,
get paid.
want
They
it.
don't care.
They want it.
They want it.
They
Yeah.
get paid.
That's why it's going there, because they want it. It's a huge open pit in the middle of the ground that they need to fill, because if it's not filled, they're not making money. So, the problem is it's $5 a ton to get rid of it there, and 10 to 15 in Ohio. So they're sending out 120 rail cars at a time because it's a full train.
Wow.
About each train, I think it's about 120 tons for each car. So you figure 120 cars at 120
What happens
tons.
when that hole gets filled up?
Well, what happens when the train flips over and there's trash everywhere? God knows what's in it, just like what happened in just up here in Lowell or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So now you got an environmental issue there.
So it's a good thing my train only carries people.
You
By
know,
my house.
and it's funny because I just got off the phone with an old friend of mine that I haven't talked to in years. I used to work with him at BFI back in LA 30 years ago. And he's working for a new company that's doing stuff with plastics. And they're taking old plastics and organics and turning it into new plastics. which is really interesting because it's a it's not a new process. It's been around for 20 or 30 years, but it's starting
Not
this
used.
way. Been in Europe forever, not here. But it's one of those things where he's looking at straight up trash to divert as much material out of the trash as he can get, and I'm like, we need the help. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I mean, I can't do anything about it because I can't work in private industry, but I just thought it was a really interesting concept. So. But there's always stuff out there, so, and that's part of what leads to the thing about trash going out of state. It's like, how much can we eliminate from going out of state? Because that's the
How much do we get rid of so that it doesn't have to be trained out?
yeah, and how much is reused? You know, whether it's recycling or reuse, it's if we're taking old stuff and turning it into new stuff, it's reuse, in my opinion.
Right.
Better than virgin material. So.
There's always more education that we could do.
A lot more. And you can use RDP funds for that.
Yes, we can.
I mean, I think the other part too that I think we do need to figure out where we're going with this and make decisions, just because I have a feeling probably the employees up at the transfer station, just where it's always been kind of up in the air and a variable, that, you know, that's in the back of their minds, just wondering about employment, you know, long term, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what I would be thinking if I worked up there. Just one thing that, you know, just kind of.
I haven't heard any rumors about the transfer station closing in years.
No,
So
but
I
I'm just
don't know.
saying, I mean, we, you know, with all the discussion that we've had over the last, you know, probably year, 2 years on it, and with the task force or whatever that you were part of, right?
No,
that committee?
no,
Melissa.
no, Melissa.
No, Melissa, but
Melissa
now
part of it.
you were part of it now.
But then we,
Correct.
I am, but one of the
Right.
people that was on it, there were 3 people on it. One I have not heard from. It took a while to get me appointed to go on that. So we're probably not going to continue to do that because it was to get the information from him. So
Right.
there really isn't a need for that task force. So I never met with anybody.
I'm
It's
just-
just me and Joe Weeks.
Kenny, you also have a technical assistance grant through DEP for me to help you out with this too. So,
So-
I'm kind of
right.
task force.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's the task force.
I have a question.
Yes.
So the town is currently 1.7 million in the hole if the school budget stays as is.
Okay.
And what if funding, since there's no enterprise fund anymore, if funding is slashed for the transfer station and stickers have already been given out?
When you say funding,
So
are you
if the
talking about
budget,
it closing?
no, I don't think no, I don't think they'll ever close it, but I don't
Okay.
think that. But if they were to cut the amount of days, so right now it's open 40 hours a week. What if they can't, and they say it's only going to be open 20 hours a week? And we've sold stickers to people based on these are the days it's going to be open.
Who's going to limit the hours?
Yeah.
The select board, if they, because right now there's a deficit for the
So
town.
to slash the money that you're paying the employees.
Right, if they were to, if they're going to cut everybody's budget, say they're going to cut everybody's
So you're-
budget.
But cutting employees is going to be difficult because they're union.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely going to be hard.
That's
Is there
a-
a contract associated with the fee to
It's like you can cut hours.
I mean, the
No.
the service
No.
is still offered. I mean, it's
It's
still the
still-
same cost.
it-
It's just
right.
the hours could be limited. I mean, just to that hypothetical question, I
Right.
mean, it's
you
not.
would still get the same tonnage because you'd still get people bringing stuff in.
They just be unspecific.
Right.
If you're
It
closed
would
on
be-
Tuesday and Thursday, then you're not going to get tonnage those 2 days, but you're still going to.
But you're still going to get it another
You're
day.
still going to get the same volume,
Right.
I think.
Right. I would too.
I mean, that
I
is
would
a
too.
possibility, especially when you're talking budget deficits.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
they do
Well,
that.
because there's no enterprise fund.
But you can't cut the staff because they have a contract.
You can absolutely cut the staff. You can absolutely cut the staff. Just because there's a contract, there's also layoff clauses in contracts. I mean, yes, they can do that.
That would be really ugly.
Well, it wouldn't just be the transfer
It
station.
wouldn't
It
be
would
the-
be
oh, no.
everybody in the building. It would be everybody in this building
Right.
and every employee, town employee.
So it sounds like we're trying to manage a deficit strategy,
Mhm.
and that we're considering like a calibration through costs that will work for us over time and work for the residents. And next steps are going to be, Teresa, you're sending current figures to Todd for analysis, so
Yes.
we get the right. We're working
So
with the
we
right
know
numbers.
it closer to what we're doing right now.
And then investigating the sticker system to see what administrative ease that might offer if we move to a yearly system. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then considering a yearly fee.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the.
Yes.
Yep. So how do we take next steps?
I don't know. Do we want to wait until next meeting and then decide, once we get all the information, decide the annual fee? And then we can decide to whether or not the sticker system will work for us, because a license plate reader, I don't think we can afford that. I think right now it's more tech than we
I
need.
mean, not even if we could afford it. I think it's just overkill for what we are as a town.
That's what, yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm not even talking money.
It's
Even if
too
we
high
had the
tech.
money to do it, I don't think it's warranted. I don't think it's really necessary.
Oh, no. I don't either.
Concur.
We still have to have a discussion with the finance committee and the budgetary process,
Why?
because we have a budget submitted.
We just sent you all the tonnage.
Okay, but why would we have a conversation with them? If we're increasing the revenue,
Yes,
so we're asking for less money,
yes.
Why
So
would we
the
talk to
conversation
them?
with the finance committee, which that takes place anyhow, no matter what. Okay, conversation with the finance committee, and as far as there's an article, how the article's presented. I know the warrant's printed now. I think there is an article as far as funding the transfer station.
yeah, but this wouldn't go into effect to right now, because we'd be start collecting this money in July.
Fiscal year
It'll be
coming.
next fiscal year, yeah,
Fiscal year coming.
Yeah,
So
because
that's-
it's,
At any point, we can always say, we don't need as much money as we asked for in that article, and I'm sure they'd be very happy to accommodate.
That'd be
Okay.
real money though. That'd be real money.
Makes sense.
Oh, you wanted 10, you only need 5? Okay.
We love you.
Yeah.
if the numbers were only that low.
I know,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? If we're asking for what we think we need right now, and we find that there's a way to reduce that, I don't think that's gonna be a bad conversation to have,
Right.
Yeah, we still have to have a conversation.
once we get to that point. So,
Okay.
Is there anything else that we can discuss today to support future planning or next steps?
I would be happy with $100 fee, annual fee, but that's me.
Let me analyze it and see what you guys can do.
Okay.
I think going from 50 to 100 is a big jump.
It is.
That's a big jump.
You think so?
Yeah. I think you're gonna
All right,
make some
so
people mad.
you'll provide us information.
I think we need to do this over maybe a 2 or 3 year plan.
Okay,
To get to that. Right?
Okay.
To get to that 125, 135.
so you're talking, maybe looking at what 75 looks like.
Probably closer to that, yeah.
Okay.
I'll see what it looks like. It's still gonna be a loss, but it's not gonna be 117,000, I'll tell you that much. But
Would you
it's-
recommend a 6250, 75, 100? Is that more approachable, or is that?
I don't know, we'll see what
too?
Terry's
Oh,
gonna I mean,
gotcha.
and then it's really, the budget too. It's you guys are gonna have to go, like you said, finance committee or,
It's gonna,
I don't know. I'm not sure of the state of the town as far as
Right.
financial stability. I mean, it sounds like there's problems.
17
every
million.
year.
No, 1.7 million.
Yeah, that's a pretty big
Every
number.
year.
So, and I know it's every year. I've read the news. I hear about it, but
So-
coming up with that money to keep the transfer station
Yeah.
open is big. So
Will you have that information by our next meeting, which is 2 weeks from tonight,
I hope
March
so.
12th?
I hope so.
Okay.
I should.
You have to give him the information, and then you can.
I already
It
gave it
shouldn't
to him.
take me more than an hour to.
Oh.
I sent
I know,
it.
she's on top of it.
I sent it back to
literally-
back
I
to
asked her for
2020.
stuff- I asked her for stuff last time, and it took her like 2 minutes, and I was already working on it. So I was expecting a couple days.
Yeah,
just-
nope,
here it is.
she wants that information right
So, I mean,
now,
I'll start analyzing.
so we can start looking at it then at the next meeting.
I've been reading tomorrow anyway, so I'll be inside.
Yeah, there you go. It's gonna be a cruddy
And
day.
Wendy.
All right. If you need
So,
anything
have
else,
we
just let me
beaten
know.
that to death?
It is beaten dead.
Yeah, email me the date for the next meeting. Let me make sure it's on my calendar.
Wow.
Okay, March
Yes, it is.
12th.
Thanks for
send
the
you-
education. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
I remember what happened yesterday, and I
I
don't know what's
know.
going on tomorrow unless it's on my calendar. All right, well, it's nice, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
Have a
much.
nice night.
Have a nice
Thanks a lot,
trip
Fred.
across the bridge.
Oh, yeah, it's easy this time of year.
Yes, I know.
A few more months, it's gonna stink.
Yeah, you're right. We'll be zooming.
We still need lunch one of these days.
We do. Maybe the next meeting. Okay.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
That's done. How about the, go back to, the other subject? Get that out of the way. Oh,
You want to control it? You want to?
10:06 budget.
yes.
Double.
Yep.
There's an involving.
Nope.
This is
Yeah, that's, I like this.
Yeah, it's 10:06 West Washington.
Alex, something, please call me, see if I can. Oh,
Was this the one we had tabled, in the prior meeting?
Reduced, required groundwater separation from 5 to 4 and allow the use of a SIF analysis in lieu of FERC. Was that our last request?
I don't know, this is a long.
So this was held over because they needed to, delineate the wetlands.
Mhm.
And that
That's
has been,
right.
and that has been done.
And it went to conservation.
Correct.
Great. Thank you for the reminder.
Sure.
And that was it.
What was the outcome of the delineation of, I'm sorry, I'm not.
I mean, they're showing 100-foot view, so I believe they're out of jurisdiction, so I don't think.
So they're good?
I don't think they had to file, but, I mean, it's showing that they're out of the 100-foot. Unless they're within, like, a
Okay.
riverfront or something like that, I don't know, but.
That would have been part of the decision there. And the plan that Frank does. The plan that Frank does, his comments in the package.
This is
She has
this
it,
is
I
a
don't know.
second review. What did you want?
Oh, no, it was in
The comments,
conservation.
this is from the
Con-
second review.
Conservation, the last plan.
Um,
That's all.
10 comments, 1 to 12.
No, I was gonna do this so that, this is the, there's the 1 to 12. And I was trying to do that with my bag,
That might be borrowing.
Let me see.
So what they have 4 rows of 10, quick pour, plastic chambers, 1,500 gallon tank, 1,000 gallon pump chamber. It's serving a total of, it looks like, what, 6 bedrooms? 5 bedrooms? 550 gallon per day. So it's serving 5 bedrooms, has a, looks like a detached dwelling unit. Looks like there's 2 dwelling units that it's serving.
Mm-hmm.
Existing cesspool to be pumped and crushed. They're looking for a groundwater reduction from 5 feet to 4 feet, and they're looking for the use of a sieve analysis in lieu of a perk test. And that's 1006 West Washington Street.
And you said you got the,
You know,
conservation was
it-
answered.
it
Yeah.
appears, I mean, they delineated wetlands flags 1 through
Yep.
wetland flag, looks like 5.
Mhm.
And they're showing a 100-foot buffer zone, and they're showing being out of that with their proposed work.
Okay. Help.
Yep, very much, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? And do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the plan as proposed for 1006 West Washington Street.
Second. All those in favor?
Thank you. So for my own learning with that last review, we had understood that it required conservation review and postpone our decision until now. We went through conservation review and determined that the footage off of conservation land was within range. And we reviewed the remainder of this meeting and provided approval. Is that just about correct?
Yeah, so at the initial meeting, conservation wanted them to delineate to make sure that they were either out of their jurisdiction,
Mhm.
or if they're within their jurisdiction, they have to file, get the proper, approvals for that to allow the siltation barriers, that kind of thing, if they had to. So we could have approved the plan, but had they had to, after delineating, say they were within, let's just say they were within 60 feet or 50 feet or within their jurisdiction, then now they had to maybe modify the site, or maybe conservation suggests if they could relocate the system to a different area, that us approving it really wouldn't have helped in any way. So it was better to table that, wait for them to kind of give it the green light that it's out of their jurisdiction, then we could review it. It's not that we couldn't have reviewed it, it wasn't really making any forward progress for the applicant.
Yep. So it would
So
have cost them more time and energy.
it would have,
Because it would have potentially come back to us.
So some people might see that as like we're holding things up, but really, my opinion is we're actually helping and doing the right thing for them by not wasting their resources.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nurse dispensing RDP.
Oh, do we have the report from her, right?
From what, I'm sorry?
From the nurse,
Public
public health
health.
nurse.
Okay.
That was the one that came around?
Signed off on.
We signed off on it.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yep,
It's
it should be in there
it's
for
in
signature.
the red one, I think. It's not in
Yeah,
here. This is just.
Over there?
In front of you. I had no questions from the.
No, I looked at all the different
Yep.
diseases. Yeah, it's there. So, yeah, no, I looked at it. A lot of virus running around. More virus than anything. Which is not surprising.
Great.
Yep. So, that's off our list. Emergency, EDS plan.
Can I have a minute?
Oh, yes. So where are we? I tried to find our most current EDS plan, and I think what I found, which was on.
It's pinned to the board in there.
That's
That's one that we made. But
right.
that was,
So it's
Ed
on our
Clark.
saved drive, but I
Right.
think it's the older version.
it's from
But just so if
2017.
anybody needs access to it, I put it on a thumb drive and pinned it to my board so everybody has
So
access
that's
to it.
there. So we did that. We
I was gonna say it's on the wall because I saw it the other day.
Yeah.
And actually, I think one of the things, the packets of information that went around for the, he signed them, right?
What's that?
Remember? So I went out and got the drives.
The thumb drive.
The thumb drives, and then
Yeah.
she had to pay me back. So I was trying not to sign that warrant, but I didn't see
Oh.
it come in front of us.
Oh, okay. I
So
got you.
that warrant, I think,
Oh,
Gil
that's
signed.
yes, he
But we
did.
created it because there was no place where that information existed. I have it at home on my computer, but it's the last time I think it was looked at or updated was 2017 or 2018. So it's something that we have to focus on. So we created that so that we at least had it somewhere. But it's something that we need to do. Plus, we have some stuff from last year, which I think we still need to do that hasn't been done. Around the same thing, the emergency planning. Let me just see if I can find what it is. There's some training and stuff we were supposed to do. And I don't think that happened. I keep pulling stuff out. The emergency dispensing site is something that we have to do for DPW. We have planners in the coalition that will help us come and do that.
Yep.
We really need to,
That stuff was
upgrade.
all created, and it's somewhere in the Dropbox. The way it was explained to me, speaking to the new planner, the new planners do not have access to the Dropbox. The previous
But the
planners
Dropbox
provided-
is what we took that out of.
It's, my Dropbox is different, so, and there's other
Okay.
things that, which I talked to the new planner, and we'll be discussing this shortly, because there's another thumb drive that I have that has later dates, and they're saying it was the sites were supposed to be the senior center and the high school. No, that was changed.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I don't know. I've never seen that.
That's, I spoke to her over an hour the other day, and she says that's where the site, so that tells me the original planners back in 2017, the new people have access to that stuff. But anything beyond 2017, where the previous planners took over, for some reason, there's no access to that stuff.
It wasn't changed. What happened was, we were supposed to go with Whitman, and we were going to do it at the high school. After we did all the planning, we did a walkthrough. Whitman said, "No, we're not going to do it
Right.
because you don't have a health agent, and we're going to get stuck doing all the work." So that was abandoned. We never, after that, set up new sites for emergency dispensing sites.
No.
There was one that was put together during COVID for shots, But we never went back and updated that plan. It has not been updated since
So
2000.
I've talked to her again, we're gonna look at it, cause I'm gonna go through my Dropbox. Apparently, the new planners do not have access to what.
That's because the old Dropbox was under a previous,
Previous planners.
and when he left,
He took
it
everything.
expired. He didn't take it, but it expired, and they didn't have access to
So
it.
if you have stuff in your Dropbox, we should put that on the shared drive.
That's right, so
Well, that's
she can
right.
have access to it.
Right,
Because we
because I don't
took
have access. to
whatever
that.
information we found and assumed that that was the most.
And it
current.
wasn't, what we took wasn't off the Dropbox, that was off of, our shared
Shared
drive.
Yep. So you maybe should make another, how many things do you have drives?
Oh, no, what I'll do is I'll just add a new folder.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
'Cause I've got
Old
that-
one
I
and
got
new one.
that other thumb
Yeah.
drive from the state that the state gave us. So.
Yeah, so we'll just put that on the computer,
Yeah.
so then we'll have, and we'll make a copy of the current thumb drive, so then we'll have 2 thumb drives of the same thing, as well as have it on the computer. So that if
Right,
anybody needs to look at
accessible.
it, it's easily
Here we
accessible.
go. It
The
needs to
new
be
planners
accessible.
don't have access to anything right now.
Okay. I only care what we have access.
And
Right.
truthfully,
Not the planners.
Yeah. I don't even know who the planners are.
So a year ago,
2.
a little over a year ago, we did a preparedness planning workshop with a lot of towns came together. So there were things that we needed to do here in Hanson that we didn't have. And so this is part of the list. Kevin, you have this somewhere.
So is this unique to our community in addition to
This
influenza?
is what we need to do.
Okay.
We would deficit. It was one of those bright colored envelopes I think I gave you. It's that plan, that same plan. But there's stuff in here that needs to be done.
Yeah,
So,
this makes sense.
yeah. So this is the stuff that we didn't have that we need. We needed to do, and that was a year ago. So
There's no industrial risk here that would require any kind of emergency dispensary. There's no.
if there is, we don't have a plan for it.
We don't have that anyway.
We don't
But
have.
not industrial. It wouldn't be
No, like, we
industrial.
don't have like chemical.
No, this
plants or
would be
anything like
Department of Public Health saying, we need you to open a
Yep.
site to give out medication, give out injections,
Got it.
whatever it is. So,
can I see that a minute?
so that's some of the stuff we need to begin to focus on to get that stuff done.
Oh, this is my writing. This is a survey.
It is. Yes, it
You know what I'm
is.
saying? Well, no, this is
That was
what-
from a year ago,
this is what-
January.
Yes, this is what things we should, we like.
Those
to try
are
to
things
do.
that we lacked, yes.
Yes, this is what we like. And, in fact, in 2023, that's the survey. In 2023, when the Sandwich Fire Chief came out and did an evaluation of
That's
everything
it.
we had. No, the evaluation is different.
This is the integrated preparedness plan, and that's the result of the things that we had those are areas that we had deficits in,
No, so
that
that's,
we needed.
my plan, the one I have is different. The one I have in the office is the result of that.
So for actions on this,
Mhm.
there's a Dropbox concern about
Yes.
having access to the most recent, and there's remediation to create a directory under the existing drive
Yes,
and share with all necessary parties.
Yeah, I'll put it on our shared drive and then I'll just make a thumb drive of it.
Does it handle the planner's concern as well?
I don't know anything about
the
plan.
planners from the coalition will
I know.
come out and take a look at what we have,
That's an
and then help us update it.
Understood.
That's what they do.
Yep.
That's what they do,
assessment.
just to bring it up to speed. But these are just some other things that we need to, begin to look at.
We got the public health, our stuff.
We got that done.
Big one.
I don't know what the senior citizen assistance one was, but
It's a drug and alcohol training. Do they still do DARE class?
no, but
They do
it's a
DARE camp.
resource.
They
This
do a
is
DARE camp
survey
during the
that I
summer.
took. This is a survey I took at a round table.
Right.
Okay? Something that we should be doing,
Hmm.
and this is my suggestions of things we should try to do. And then they sent the person out that reviewed everything.
Yeah.
So this
Plymouth
is what I-
County has a really good program, and they come to the police station, I want to say like once a month. I think it's Plymouth County, and they do outreach. I don't know if I know it's alcohol, I don't know if it's both, but that's something that we didn't have before that we have now. But I know, I see their ads all the time on Facebook when they're gonna be in Hanson.
I didn't know they had that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, Hanson's got a
And
completion.
I can
That's
bring you
all-
the information.
That's all sheriff.
I know it's
departments
Plymouth
that
County.
deal with it, so.
But they come to the Hanson Police Station at least once a month and have open hours, maybe for 3 hours, maybe like 9 to 12. So if people needed assistance or they need resources, they're there to help. So that happens at the police station at least once a month. Yeah, and the other stuff is mostly the mental health. We did the nurse, the senior assistants. I don't know what that is. And education.
Let me see, I'm the one that wrote it, let me see it again.
And then the education about what the health department
Education,
does.
a lot of education.
That
that's
should
right.
be easy enough to do too.
Yeah, this is all stuff that, we suggested to, we should be doing.
We should be doing. Yep.
Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
So okay, then we.
Yeah, there's a plan after this one, so.
Okay. Let's see what is next.
Probably the agent report.
RDP grant.
Oh,
Yeah. Where do we stand with that? So have we submitted? We've done the survey. Where are we at?
It's all submitted,
Everything's done?
everything's done, yeah. So,
How many points?
well, I don't know how many points actually. And it's been submitted, the spending report's been submitted. And again, we're one of the top towns. I mean, last year we've been the top town as far as grant funding coming for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
I
I don't.
was in Situate, so.
I'll have to see if Todd can find out the points. The number of points will determine the amount of money that we get. And so it could be anywhere between 600 to 900 a point. And then so we can sort of guesstimate how much money we'll get. But it's based on points. Because sometimes I just want to make sure we've covered everything
Everything's covered.
that we've done in terms of all the points that we can get.
Right.
Every point counts.
I believe our last check was $11,000.
Something like that, yeah.
Last year?
We're at the top, yeah.
So we want more this year.
Oh, we can't, we're at the top now as it is just about, so. We haven't lost any points.
The swap shop should give us extra points.
Yeah,
We didn't have
Swap
that.
shop, and then there's radio ads that we do
Yeah,
that South Shore Recycling does.
right, but that's
It
always
gives us
been the only. I
points.
think the only new thing is the swap shop.
Right, and we should get more points for that.
Mhm. Yep.
Yes. Okay. As long as that's all set. Okay, let's go to the agent's report.
Okay, we'll start on this. There's a lot of talk about the dog pound, the previous dog pound building. The town is going to probably reactivate that due to the fact that contracts between other towns and Abington and another town aren't working out well. He has to drive all over the place sometimes.
Lakeville.
Lakeville. We had a meeting up there again today, and Press LLC's talking about they're going to fixing the building up, redoing things, and which I mean I think it's going to take a while to do it, but and part of the problem is that the animal control officer he also does different other animals and stuff, so people don't understand what his actual job is.
Picks
That's
up
what they're
dead animals.
So they've got to get more educated people what the thing actually does. The guy's a fantastic animal control officer. He does a lot more than people think he does, and he doesn't get recognized what he does. But it's going to be looked over. The cages, there's a lot of work to be done there. And Press LLC says they'll help out. They'll try to make contacts with other contractors and stuff, to try to put this all together. But I think we're still months away. Through the RDP funds, through the swap shop, I had all trees cut down that we wanted, because I got to move that container that's sitting there, move that out of there and get that in front of the number 4 container, and get the place cleaned up. It's all it's trash that's inside that building.
I have a question about that. The gates close at 4:45, right?
Yeah.
What time do the guys leave?
5 o'clock.
Okay. I went up there and everybody was gone, 4:46, 4:47. Could they spend 5 minutes a day taking all that stuff that's in there that was taken out of the bin and put it back in the bin to get ready?
Yes.
Because I know the Board of Selectmen set aside a certain amount of money to do whatever work, and then the LLC is going to help. But the quicker we get that stuff out, and I don't want them to take time away from when there's people with cars coming in. But if they could spend 5 minutes putting that stuff back in that bin to go back out, by the time somebody does go in there to look at it, it'll be cleaned out. There's a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in there.
That was part of today's discussion.
Somebody likes to pick and bring into the building, so now they need to put it back.
Part of today's discussion was that the building has to be exposed better, so all the trees are gone and everything. We might have to relocate the shops container, which that's no problem, that's relocating that. They'll probably put a little
I want
closet
to see
in.
if we can get one that's a little bit bigger, because that opening won't allow standard size boxes, shops containers to go into.
Part of the problem with that container is, I'm gonna be looking into one, because, we've got quite a few people using plastic milk jugs, and jamming it all.
But if we got a kiosk that the window was a little bit bigger, we can get free shops containers to give to people so that they're using the appropriate thing.
But where are we going to keep those containers?
The empty ones,
Yeah, to give away.
we could keep them probably down by the kiosk. I think should be moved to over by the swap shop door there,
That's. where the
and we could
possible
find
plan
some
is.
place to put those containers in there. It's just a matter of getting them from Rockland.
So it is, the building has to be exposed, so it can be evaluated. There's a bunch of paneling and stuff that has to come down. They're talking to the school, Billy Charlie Baker, he's talking to Self-Serve, Votech, they're talking to different people that can come in and help out. And Chris LLC's willing to donate people, time, and, certain things too.
Raccoons first.
So, but, it's a long, it's gonna be a long process, it's not gonna happen overnight, but,
When were they talking about opening it?
but we're talking, definitely after Maytown meeting, because that money has to be appropriated at Maytown meeting. So,
Oh, I thought they had already appropriated like $15,000.
it's in the budget,
Oh,
it's in the budget process.
so it's to be appropriated in May?
Yeah.
I hope we can get it cleaned out by then.
And plus, we're going to be looking at another container. The wooden shed is completely rotted out, and what we should have there is something that can short out batteries. So there is a container that a shipping container that can be purchased and replace that wooden shed, and we have to consider, as far as the metal walls. and
Which
stuff
wooden
like that.
The shed that the guys go in?
No.
Which shed?
The shed
Which
that-
shed?
Which shed?
It has the batteries and the light bulbs and all.
Oh,
You don't even notice it because it blends in.
Oh, all right.
It's usually because the light bulbs are on the side hanging out
Yeah.
everywhere. I can imagine that
You
that's
just said
in
the
there.
shed.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a wooden shed. The only wooden
Yeah,
shed.
yeah.
So we got to start thinking about properly disposing of lithium batteries. They do take them with the electronic stuff, but we should be getting the buckets and putting the lithium ion batteries.
And why are the light bulbs always outside, just sort of like falling
room,
out?
room, the boxes they have, they get wet, and so that's the reason. Another reason for replacing that shed. So that's one of the things we work on. So,
Hello.
Hey,
so they say, we do, like the DP says, we do a good job for the transfer station, and I think we're quite efficient up there. But that whole corner there's got to be cleaned out. So all the brush and trees and everything are gone, and then we get,
go meet in here.
like I say, the e-waste stuff, and that other container, the other metal container, that's kind of rotted out. So I'm going to be evaluating that because we also have to consider how the IDP funds the hazardous waste site in Hanover.
We do, because we're gonna be getting a bill for that
I'm going to
soon.
get a bill for that, so that's another thing as far as IDP spending also. So,
You know what he's talking about?
Mhm.
Okay.
so that's something we definitely have to look at because I don't know how much this IDP funding is going to last, how many years it's going to go.
As long as we keep doing what we're supposed to do,
Oh, I know.
the faucet has not been shut off.
So we're good to go as far as that stuff is and whatnot. And so move on to the next situation here. So CVS, I met with him a couple of times. Apparently the previous manager never submitted his paperwork to corporate. And when the manager that I've been dealing with took the job 3 years ago, and for some reason the day manager, so through all the crap that's gone through, hopefully by the end of this week, they'll be all paper bag. All the containers.
Excuse me, he's
Okay.
responding to my complaint about CVS using plastic bags 2.5 years after the ban. So, that's how it
So
started.
they had their break during COVID and everything, but it's, should be on track, probably like, well, I'll be over there tomorrow, just check and make sure. They had all of the racks and all that stuff, so that's taken care of. That's about really it, I mean, I don't know if you're all aware, we had, Speedway station shut down for like almost 3 days there, a couple of weeks ago. Shut down, a major sewage backup, and,
Are they not opening back up, or they've opened back up?
Speedway is open. The Dunkins is out of there. They're no longer there.
Right.
They pulled out of there, but it was pretty much a good mess. It took us Saturday, Sunday, Monday to get the place cleaned up and presentable. A couple people who went in there got sick, and they called the fire department. Fire department called. We got a complaint of the police department. Called the fire department. Fire department got home and I went down there, and that was pretty nasty. But we're all squared away there.
Did their system fail, or?
Broken pipe when someone flushed a bag down the toilet and backed everything up. The drain cleaner came in, took the toilets out, and everything ended up in the store. So, that's the highlights of things that are going on. Like I say,
The highlights, the lowlights.
yeah, that's about it. I think we got. Is there another meeting coming in here?
Yeah.
Is that-
Yeah,
Don't-
at 7?
That-
You have to be done by 6:30.
Set up everything, yeah.
Early.
It's not that he doesn't like us.
So, I don't know.
But he's leaving.
So Peter, are you still interested in like a Rockland sewage treatment plant? They had an episode a week and a half ago. They were dumping 8.5 million gallons over the treated amount there.
Really?
Yeah, it was combined sewage overflow. So they did 10 days of dumping.
Where?
A week and a half ago.
Where
Where
they
is their,
dumping it.
where's their leaching field?
They dump into they treat and they also dump into oh my God, I forget the little stream there. So their overflow goes in the stream that goes into Forge Pond.
Yeah.
And Forge Pond and down into Factory Pond.
Wow.
So I get all the information. I thought you were interested in that.
Gross.
He's talking treated, I hope.
It's treated.
It would be chlorinated, but it would be over-chlorinated. So
Over-chlorinated.
chlorine
Would kill some of the bugs, or maybe not.
and any wildlife.
I was gonna say, what about the fish and
Exactly.
turtles?
No
And
over-chlorinated, was it? So did they provide any chlorine counts of their effluent
No, they just said within count. The DEP report.
within count?
Within count.
And the fecal counts were within count.
Yeah. So of course.
Of course they were.
Their permitted discharge is 2.5
line.
million gallons a day.
Yep.
So they were at 10 million gallons a day. So it was pretty much a miss.
It's infrastructure. That's tough. It's a lot of rain.
So
That's interesting.
and
For context, I worked at a sewage treatment plant in '95.
and the Superfund website, it's kind of up, but it's not totally up. It's just explaining things.
Mhm.
This and that. And also, I think I have a call tomorrow. That light that's on at the end of Fairway Drive there.
Oh yeah, that
So-
was a complaint.
Now, you live on Fairway? Is that where you live? Or?
It's at the end of Beechwood. The resident complaint to the facility was off of Beechwood.
Okay.
Yep.
So that changed? 'Cause I think we have a call tomorrow on that with the DEP. So.
what kind of light?
That's what I'm thinking. Was it a floodlight or?
There were trees taken down on the other side of Factory Pond that allowed light from the security camera, the security light on the facility shining directly into a resident's house.
Oh,
Very, very bright. That hadn't been impacted until they removed.
Till they removed the trees.
Yep.
Yep.
And she asked that they manage the direction of that light, and it sounds like it hasn't been changed.
Yes, sounds so. I'll discuss it tomorrow when I call there. So.
It's easy enough to do that.
It's very, very easy to do that. She has point.
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
have a street light that I paid for, and when I had it put in, I said to the guy, turn the lamp so that it does not shine in that bedroom window. And that's
This
what
thing,
they
I
did.
haven't been down there myself to see it, but it's really bright. And a lot of people, because I was down on another complaint down there or something else, and I talked to them, said it was bad. So
was thoughtful of you to follow up on that.
That's about it for now.
That's it. Okay. Anything else? Anybody have any old business? All right, I guess I'll take a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?